Okay, so, I don't know if we want to start. We're going to be on page 4.
Speak up into the mic.
Page 4 is our budget. I do have a couple changes that were on here. The first one would be the judge's salary elect, which is the first line item, 101,130,703. The requested budget and the recommended budget, Shannon had marked it up to 94,192. That is set by the state, so we need to drop it down to 91,448. That's not changing. They might change with the state, but the state has kept the city's portion the same. So that needs to decrease to 91,448.
Okay. Thank you. We'll make that adjustment. Mahdi will give us the final with his beautiful brain.
Okay.
Can you let me into the meeting?
And then the next line item for salaries, I need to make an adjustment with that as well, because it didn't account for, we have 3 clerks who will be hitting their 2-year mark, which there's a step increase. So that needs to go to, I had requested 887,557, but we do have one of those clerks left. So we're hired a new clerk, so she'll be not getting that step increase. So I need 882,970 for that position. So 882,970.
Can you tell me what the, are they in the personnel page?
Yep, they'll be on the personnel page. They're deputy court clerks.
No, they're not. I don't have them. We only have, we have only one paralegal on the personnel page.
I'm on page 2 for the personnel page, is page 2.
Go down one more.
Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
so
give you one of those.
here we have,
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
so here's one of my changes.
so you have the departments, the 20th District Court, judges, 94, she put it at, it's supposed to go down to 91.
91,448.
And then you have court administrator. Okay,
And then we have probation director,
you have probation director,
deputy court administrator,
okay,
court reporter,
court reporter,
which we, yep,
there's 2 of them,
2 of those. I have 1 probation officer,
1 probation officer,
2 court officers,
okay,
and then we have 4 deputy court clerk 1s. Those are hired prior to 2016.
okay.
And then we have 4 deputy court clerk 2s, but one of those is a brand-new hire, so starting in at the lowest salary, which is there.
Well, this is
already.
going down.
Yep, she's starting in at the starting salary, which will be 35,839. And then the other 3 court clerks are going to be hitting their 2-year mark within this next fiscal year.
So they're getting a raise.
So according to contractual, they get a step increase. And so their salary's jumping up to 39,435.
From 35 to 39.
Yes.
Okay. Matty, do you have that? George, can we make note of that?
What was that, 39, I'm sorry?
39,435.
And what's the total sum?
So the total sum for the court
Salaries.
clerks is $851,569.
Okay.
And then Shannon had put in here for additional wages for like longevity, sick payout, vacation payout. She calculated 31,401. So I added that to it, which gave me to the 882,970.
Your requested budget was 887.
Yeah, but that was because I had 4 court clerks going to be hitting their 2-year mark, but one of them just left, and so we just hired a new one who's starting at the
So
beginning.
882,970.
Yes.
And we offered you 872.
Yeah, and that didn't account for the step increases.
Okay. So that's the difference of how much there, Councilman?
7,000 something, I think.
Maybe
88.
We're going from 882,970 minus 872,182.
No, but you have to add whatever she added.
And, yeah, so then, because I had a decrease with this, so once I get through this, I have a,
Yeah, but the overall sum, though.
yeah,
is-
so it's going, I have a bottom line. I'll give you
It's
the bottom line once I get
10,780.
through everything. So,
Because
right now,
she
so,
added it, she gave me the sum total that she needs. with the adjustments. So the total sum is
882,970, yes.
And they budgeted 872,182. So either way, there's a shortage with taking and putting, there's still a shortage.
Yeah, because the judges went down some,
Yep.
the salaries went up. I also have, if we go, I mean, you can see, do you want me to go line item
Well,
by line item?
yeah, but that was just for the salaries.
Yep, that was-
Salaries in general were off by $10,000.
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
okay. And then the next line item for retired prior years, I had requested 15,148 because we did have a clerk who retired, and I'm under the impression it takes 3 years to pay out any of their back pay, whatever they had for their vacation and what have you. They didn't give it to me, so I'm not sure if that clerk had received all her money or she doesn't need it, but the comptroller or the administration took that out.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, if they did it, they probably give them a payout.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, I don't know, I don't know about that. That would be running through the comptroller's office. My part-time, 181,825. Overtime, 7,000. Clothing, which would be for the court officers, this is a contractual, 1,200. The hospital insurance, life insurance, government pension, and the fringe benefits is set by the comptroller. Supplies, 43,000. I have utilities. We did ask for an increase as everything's on the rise, and we've been, the DTE bills and water bills, everything's been high, so I went high, budgeted on that. I mean, we're currently budgeted at 87,000, but I'm already at 86% and spent in my current budget right now. So I did go high for that, and the comptroller's office agreed. The dues and members, I requested 4,500. They gave me 5,000. I only need 4,500, so we were only like $56 above with all our memberships of what we have to do. So at 4,500 will work for that. The court fees.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I just want to make sure, Judge, we got that.
Those are all the same. No, that one is line item dues members, so it's
802.
802.
So you're okay with taking this down to 4,500?
Yeah, I'm okay with 4,500.
Thank you.
Every little bit helps,
Big
right?
time, especially this.
We can give the $500 back to Director LaFeeve, so.
Okay. And then the next line item would be court fees. We have it at 65,000.
What is court fees?
That, we have our court fees, which pays for a majority of our, some data that we do for the JDW, which is a judicial data warehouse, which we have to send information to the state. All our interpreter fees, which we're in a very diverse area, and we
You
have.
think you're gonna exceed your number this year?
Yeah, we were at 60,000. We are going up because our
Well,
interpreter
right now,
fees.
activity is you're at 24,457.
At the court fees.
Yeah, your activity through 3/31.
Yeah, that's been going, because we've been getting right now, we have our interpreter agency, some bills weren't paid, and they have several outstanding bills that are going, so just 2 of them were approved last night, because they're over 1,500 all the time, so we have about 4 outstanding bills with them, so that money's gonna jump up pretty quickly.
Do you think we're gonna still use 30,000 in the next month?
Maybe not in the next month, but let me get through the end of my budget, because I might need to use this to buy computers for myself.
Well, hold on.
Because I asked for it in a capital outlay, which they took away. We have the oldest computers in the whole entire city.
Well, this is what I want you to know. Why I'm
Okay.
asking you this question is because you're not gonna be able to take this out from here.
Right.
They're gonna take this and they're gonna put it in the general fund and they're gonna say you lost it if you don't use
Right.
it. So my question to you is, before the end of the year, send in a budget amendment.
Okay.
That says, hey, we didn't use all the money for our court fees. I'd like to use $5,000 for computers or $10,000 for computer, or whatever the remaining amount is. Just don't let it go back to the general fund, because if you don't use it,
You lose
they're
it.
not
You're
gonna give it back
taking my
to you.
spotlight. That was what I was going to ask to do, so I was
Well, it has to
trying
be,
to.
I want you to add it to a
Yes,
resolution.
no, that's what I want to try to utilize. I just told him today, I said, this is what I might be able to do is piecemeal and be able to maybe get our computers that I would request it for next budget time, but I might be able to get them out of this time. Cooper gave me a bottom line, so we definitely 1,000% need new computers, so, because they're not going to be supported come October for lien and what have you, so, but that's on my agenda.
Just
to
make
do.
sure we do it before the
Yep.
fiscal year ends.
Yep, I'm waiting
Thank
in
you.
May. I was planning on doing something in May, so I just wanted to kind of see where we were at for number-wise. The next line is our contractual services.
I have a quick question
Okay.
for you. I'm so sorry to interrupt
Sure.
you. Please forgive me. Looking at it, use 30,000. You're requesting an additional 5,000. They didn't give you any money. You said of the amount that you requested in the capital outlay. Why don't we take that number from 65, give it to 45, take 20 and add it to your capital outlay? So that way you don't have to come back to the city council and say, can you move this so I can purchase this? Now you have 20,000 in capital outlay to work with. And you don't even have to come to us anymore.
For this current budget year?
Yes. No, not for this current one.
Yeah,
the new
I'm
one that
looking
we're
at this
working on.
current budget year
Yes.
to do this.
I know, and I'm giving it to you for the following year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that way now you, instead of coming back to us next year,
Okay.
you're set to go spend 20,000 like you please, as you please.
Yes.
So
Like,
what we can do is, here you're requesting 65.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, you spend about 35, 40 grand. Take the remaining 20, we're not gonna short your budget. We're just gonna give you the 20,000 and add it to your capital outlay. That way
Okay.
the court can use it how they please.
okay.
So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
so I mean, if I need it for interpreter fees, I'm going to have to use it for interpreter fees. That's where I'm getting, because my interpreters, we have an enormous amount of interpreters, and if the case is not settling, we have to adjourn and reschedule that interpreter, so.
That's fine, then
Okay.
you could take it back out of capital outlays, but if you don't end up using it, at
Okay.
least you have capital outlays to go buy even more computers or even more
Okay.
tablets or whatever the court needs.
Okay,
I'm just looking at it as a win for you, like,
okay,
I would take this court fees for next year, not, because this year you're already gonna do it, you're gonna send me a budget amendment in
Yes.
May. For next year, let's make this 45 and take 20,000 added to your capital outlay, because you have $0 for capital outlay.
right.
You
Okay, I
requested-
mean, it's still in the budget, so that's, I mean, it's fine, because if we
Yeah,
have
so
to
the
do
numbers
an
don't
amendment or
change, you
something.
just have flexibility
Yes.
of doing what you and the court wanna do.
Okay,
Okay, can we make that to 45? And then we're gonna move capital outlay 20,000 up, so there's still the 65,000. You get to just choose, and if you wanna use the capital outlay to pay your
interpreters,
interpreters, do what you want.
yeah, we have to, okay.
Can she do that with capital outlay?
You can.
Well, the
If
thing-
not, bring it as a budget amendment
I don't
then.
think you can.
Bring it as a budget.
Well,
Capital outlay
it's,
is
we're
probably
kind of
physical.
in a different situation, the court is, because what it is you approve our budget, and basically it's a lump sum budget, even though you guys break it down as line items. If we have the money in the fund, we can use it out of that account. So it's something there, because with the court, we're a separate entity. We have to have our budget approved by the council, a bottom line. The only thing we can't interchange through things are the salary line items. Everything else is kind of, if we say, yeah, if we need to, okay, I'm running short in this, I could take it out of like my court
I
fees.
I
or
just
my
want you to be
repair
careful
maintenance.
though.
Oh, yes.
Because we passed a resolution under Gary, basically stating that no line item is to be adjusted without the approval of the council.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
want-
I don't like transfer, but we'll just,
Yeah.
because ours, I got it. I got it.
We're good, we're
Yes,
good.
I got it.
If you need to transfer it back next year, you're more than.
Okay. Yep, absolutely.
How come we can add the contractual services for the interpreters?
Mm-hmm.
Can we add them there?
You don't have to. Just-
No, and the contractual services, no, that would be just our court fees. It's for juror payments, witness payments, interpreters. That's what we pay out of the court fees, so.
That's what I'm saying, you need
But the
more-
contractual services, we have, what we budgeted here is for our case management system, which handles all our cases and our processing and what have you, and our 2 magistrates. That's what's in our contractual.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're
I'm not
welcome.
trying to make it
Nope,
any more
I got you.
difficult.
Nope, that's fine.
Okay.
Here nor there, tuition, is 2,500, which in the contract it's higher, but we haven't had anybody use any tuition, so, I mean, at this point in time, if we needed to, ask for a budget amendment or what have you at that point in time, if somebody, starts taking classes, we'll come back. The MIDC grant expenditure, this is what we're responsible for as a local portion with the MIDC grant. We have to pay that amount. It actually is $9,908, so we just put $10,000 in there. Repair and maintenance for things going on in the building, computers, leaks, anything that we have to do. As we know, the Justice Center has a bunch of leaks anymore. And travel and education, that speaks for itself, and legal library fees.
Use online services for the law library for the research.
We do some online and a lot of books. The judges like their books still, so we still get the books. But we're grandfathered in. We have a very old subscription that we can, if we were to join new and try to do the online site as well as the books, it would be really expensive. So we've just kept on, and they keep trying to get us to come off of it. But I'm like, no, it's cheaper to do it this way. So it's still expensive, but we have to do it. We have to have a law library. So the things that I had listed in the capital outlay were the court needs new computers. Obviously, our computers are the oldest in the city. We have not had any new computers for probably over 10 years, maybe 15 years. So coming up to the end of life this October, our computers have been updated from Windows 7 to Windows 10, and there's no room, or they're not capable to upgrade to Windows 11. And in order to be compliant with lien regulations and security, we have to purchase new computers to have Windows 11. Cooper gave me an estimate of like $36,620. But like I said, come to May, I want to see where I'm at in my current budget, and then possibly we can kick those out, and I won't even need to do that next year. We need new carpet. I know I talked about this last year as well. As the weather's changing now and the humidity comes in, we get speed bumps in our carpet, and it's a tripping hazard.
Are you saying inside the court, or?
It's inside the especially the lower level of the clerk's office, like where you come down. It's really, the whole hallway is just like speed bumps. And because when they did this, you figure this carpet has been there a very long time. It's just on cement. The glues come unstuck, and it's just, and the humidity makes it way worse. So I didn't go out for quotes, but they took the money out, so I haven't done anything yet. But it's definitely in very bad shape. It's a tripping hazard, and I just don't want anybody to fall, especially a woman or somebody, to catch their heel and go face first, because then we'll have bigger issues on our hand. And also the next thing was we need a new work program van, whether we lease it or purchase it. Our current van is a 2006. The floor is rusted out, and right now the floor is being reinforced using plywood.
What do we use the van for?
Well, we have a work program, but we don't take them out very much because the van is not safe. So they do things around the building. They might go to the library and do some things around the building. Bill Deckert, don't know if you know who Bill Deckert is, but he does this, and we do it on a Saturday, so we can get people to come out and help maybe tidy up parks, streets, do that type of thing. But the van is not safe, so we can't really transport a bunch of people. And we don't want a lot of people meeting us at certain locations, because they shouldn't be driving majority of the time, because they're here because they probably don't have a driver's license and what have you. So we're just trying to.
There's fees for them to even be in that program too, right?
We don't charge fees for them to be in the program, but it takes off for their fines and costs to try to adjudicate their cases, so we can close them out. But they have to do so many days in order to. How do you guys
It
typically?
saves money on incarcerating them. If they do 10 days in
Yes, and-
jail, the city gets billed.
Yeah, and then the
At least
city,
a
it's
couple
$45 a day for incarceration at the jail. So if we can try to keep them out of jail, yeah, that's.
Prices for a lease for a van.
That's what I was looking at my deal prices. They had some certain things, but again, I didn't go shopping yet. It's kind of early, so we'll go shopping. But I think a lease would be,
Sometimes we've been getting better deals just off from the dealership versus my deal.
yeah, well, that's why I said I was going to have him, the work program director, go to the dealerships. I can check on my deal, and we can kind of see what was going. But I was thinking with a lease would be obviously the cheaper, and maintenance and all that would be included as well. So maybe like a 3-5 year lease even, rather than a 2-year lease. in purchasing. On my deal, they averaged between like 50 and 60,000 to buy, and then you have to get we still have to, get the wording on it, get the safety lights.
Sometimes it's cheaper to get it for 2 years, like I just got a car for 2 years was, I think, $70 a month cheaper than having it for 36 months. I was
Oh,
like,
okay. I mean, we'll definitely shop around and, see what kind of people will
And,
help us out in the dealerships.
How's that furnace going? I know you're not using it anymore, but I know we talked to Tifa last time, and they said.
Well, our
they're
air
gonna look
conditioner is hot today, and our air conditioner is not working.
Not working?
So now it's about 85 degrees in our building today, and this is only April, so I can only imagine what's going to be.
I know the Tifa director, we talked to him last week, and he said he's gonna look into it.
Okay.
If they have some money, they might be able to help
Oh,
with that.
that'd be fabulous. I know Johnson Controls is coming out tomorrow to take a look and see, because about this time last year, our air conditioner went out as well. And Johnson Controls came out and they did a Band-Aid fix. And it was like $19,000 or something just for whatever they had to do. So now we're not even a year later and here we are again. So
No
I can't.
warranty? No warranty, anything?
This has been here since 2003,
Yeah.
so
That's my-
it's our original unit.
He said he's gonna look into it.
Councilman Musket was a great critic
So
of
the director
Johnson
said
Controls.
what Tom Roscoe said was, if we can use the wording that we're not replacing, I forgot what it was, but if we can say things like, there is a use for it that people can use, then we can get a new one through Tifa. He said he was gonna look into it for us, 'cause
Okay.
we brought it up during the Tifa board.
Is it possible for you
With
to
Tifa money.
connect with him?
Yeah, and I actually tried to get him to do my carpet too. So I had already talked to him about the
Okay.
carpeting, but he said he cannot do
What is
that.
it, what does
because
it
it's a
cost on the
maintenance.
carpet?
I don't know, because we have to also, it's down in the clerk's office, so we have a gazillion cubicles. So the cubicles, we're gonna have to have two costs, carpet as well as a cubicle, tear down, place back up. There's electric in each cubicle. So I was I'm gonna try to see what we can do
Well,
or
let's
who
get
we
some
can find, or
quotes.
somebody who's local maybe who wants to, help us out with this.
Yeah.
But I hadn't gone out because the money was there, and I was like, well, if.
Reach
if
out
we're
with
not
me
gonna
too.
get
I
anything.
mean, I can talk to some.
Yeah, and I said, if we find some connections or something that would, be beneficial.
Maybe we
so.
can even get somebody to donate it.
Metro and Telegraph.
Library just replaced
Gary
them,
Busey.
and they did a really good job because they had like the equipment to like move heavy.
Yeah, but those are shelves. They're-
Yeah, those are shelves where cubicles. I talked to Mike, I reached out to Mike as well because I knew he just got the carpet done and all that. And he said that was specific to libraries, so.
And the library is funded by itself.
Yeah. But I did reach out to him because I knew he got a pretty good deal. He did it. So I was like, hey, let me piggyback and see what's going on. But he was like, they're specific
So
to
how big is
libraries.
the area, you think? Square footage wise?
Big.
Half of the Justice Center, like the entire floor.
Oh.
So it would be down, I don't know, I could probably have somebody get me the blueprints or what have you and find out.
Maybe 1/3 of the Justice Center.
Yeah, because that's what our portion is, 1/3 of you figure the police department has a larger side. We have the whole lobby and then we're on the back side. Upstairs needs to be done, but the lower level 100% needs to be done, so.
It'd be just cheaper to take the carpet off and just polish the floors.
Well, that's, we thought about that as well and said, but then you have, it's the carpet hides the dust, hides the dirt and, you do that as opposed to somebody's gonna have to be sweeping and mopping and cleaning the floors all the time, so.
Especially in wintertime.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and then you do, or we thought maybe getting them, just have some runner rugs, in the high traffic areas or what have you. We talked about it. We just have to reach out and see what
Yeah, I know,
can
but we
do.
have to figure it out because like this is the second year you've come to us, the same issues, same complaints, and like, really, nothing has been done for you guys, and I'm sorry that's happening.
Yeah, I know, money's been tight and what have, with everything and the budgets and this is, what we have to do, but after last year, it was like, okay, we want it, we wish we can get it. We're kind of off the wish list and on the need list at this point, so.
Yeah, and like, I hate to beat a dead horse, but it's like, money wasn't tight.
Yeah,
We had $24 million from ARPA money. Could have used that money. Could have done, certain things with the first $10 million.
yeah, and also, but I have a positive note, where we are with our projected revenue, we are closer to our target this year than we've been in many years. Hopefully we'll have a good 3 months, and then we will hit that. But also kudos to the police department because obviously there's more filings. Caseload's gone up, so obviously if caseload goes up, then that affects our revenue because we can't collect without any cases. So I think that's it for this. Do you have any other questions for that part?
Can you tell me what the amount is that you guys have so far in revenue?
I have some revenue right now. Did I give you that? It's right here. So I have we're, as of right now through March, we're at 1,766,605. Our target is 2,000,004. So we have 3 months to go. If we can feasibly make 212,000 for the next 3 months of the money that comes to the city, then we will meet our target. I went a little lower. I said, let's go 175 for the next 3 months. We'll be just shy of our revenue target by like 108,000.
Let's get that 108,000.
I know, hey, we're trying. But I did see, last month we had the best, we've been, let's say, averaging 150,000 with the ordinance, traffic, and criminal fines that come to the city. Last month, we did have a good month. It was 240,000 for just the traffic, criminal, and ordinance. Obviously, probation fees, hit and miss. We have a lot of things that have changed legislatively with probation, so we can't do a whole lot. And then civil, obviously, and there's not any revenue in civil. Our civil is our caseload went up, but our civil fees, you don't get any revenue with civil. So.
Yeah, we don't want any more civil lawsuits.
No, we don't. But that's it. But with the caseload, like through March for this fiscal year, right now, as of March 31st, including traffic, criminal, parking, ordinance, and civil, so the whole kit and caboodle, we're at 14,529. We ended last year through June at 15,990. So we're doing better than we were, but the year prior to that, we were at 19,842, and our revenue was 2.5, almost 2.6 million. So it goes to show, the caseload. So we go hand in hand with the police department.
What would the courts do without you, Michelle? Like, you need to be the next judge overnight.
Oh, Judge and I have been here just about the same amount of time. Maybe I got you a couple more years on you, I think. Yeah, so I think,
So every time somebody works in the work program, instead of getting incarcerated, the city gets money instead of the city paying out money.
right, yes. Absolutely, because, it's saving on the jail bill, for one, because the jail bill adds up really quick.
I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Okay.
I have no more questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's get in contact about that.
Okay.
I'm gonna figure out some programs.
Okay.
Reach out to our state reps.
Okay.
Guys, like,
Maybe, yeah.
give us about 500,000. We're not even asking for much.
Oh, yeah, the 260 fund, which is,
Councilman Amato will run it. I just wanna wash my
Okay.
hands.
I just heard the Trump administration.
page 41.
Holding up all the Department of Justice grants.
Yeah.
DOJ grants.
So we have the 260 fund is the MIDC, the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission, which pays for our court-appointed attorneys. So it's a grant we go out for. We're in the process of, actually, I've been working with the RMAC office, who is our regional office, who handles 19 district courts in the area. We do a compliance plan. She just submitted the numbers of what she is projecting for us, and it's going to be $285,505, which will cover the attorneys as well as the court officer who works for MIDC. He's a grant-funded position. So that is what is anticipated. So the recommended budget that Shannon has, I thought about 256, but they actually gave us a little bit more. Hasn't been voted on with the MIDC. We just had to submit it.
Okay.
So they don't do their meetings. They have their own commission and their own meetings and council. So that will be taken to them and for a vote. So far, everything we've submitted over the years, we haven't had any rejections because the numbers speak for themselves. We've been paying that many attorneys. Our cases have gone up. We've been having to pay more attorneys. So actually the grant fund, what we currently have, will be a shortage in it. So they're actually giving us well, we've asked for it, an additional $80,000 on top of that 285, just to reimburse us for the money we're going to spend this current budget. Yeah, and the state budget year is October 1 to September 30th.
So I don't understand, if you requested 256, what did they give you 200 if it's, if the grant is paying for it?
I don't know.
The historical use, again, it's a grant, so if they end up spending it this fiscal year, we can increase it. If not, it'll just carry to the next fiscal year when it changes, because it's October through September, so there's still a few months.
So if you use the whole grant, it still stays with us, or we lose the whole money?
The money it's pre-funded, so it carry over. So let's say I ended my unexpended year, I have to do a financial statement at the end of September. I have to say, in the past, I've always had a plus. Like, I've always had, like, so say the 200,000 was granted to us, and we were awarded that, and I ended with 20,000 to the positive, then they would take that off and only give us 180,000, so they would make it, because that's what they awarded us. Last year, I finished negative 53,000, so they gave us, in this current fiscal year, the reimbursement to pay ourselves back. So that is included in the 256 that we currently have this year. And then next year,
41.
we're hoping, and getting the reimbursement again. And this is a pre-funded thing. They pay us quarterly. So they just sent, I don't know whether we have it or not, but I do see they sent a $62,000 payment. So we get payments quarterly after I submit my FSR quarterly.
That saves the court a lot of money too, because.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to pay for the attorneys any longer. We had to pay for all of them out of our own budget before,
But somebody's in custody, somebody goes back and talks to them, they plead, they pay their fine or make arrangements to pay, and they're out. They're done.
We have an attorney every day, Monday through Friday, which is our house counsel, who is somebody, it's on a rotation. We have at least one attorney who's in every morning to try to enter into a plea on an arraignment. Because if we can kick the case out at the first time, that's very beneficial, and that's kind of what they want. I didn't bring those numbers with me, but out of maybe 300 arraignments, we only had like maybe 91 pleas at arraignment. So they're going to a pretrial. So when they go to a pretrial, we appoint another attorney. The House Counsel doesn't keep it. They get a new attorney for the duration of their case.
So 91 that plead out of 300, that's like a third plead out and are done.
Yeah. I mean, and if we could get that higher, then actually there'd be probably less spending, because the House Counsel's paid a flat, like a certain amount every day, that the region, that MIDC has approved for
Who
them.
does that? Who's some of the attorneys that do that? Is it still?
In our court appointeds, we have our House Counsel, we have Mohammed Saba, Donna Malouf, Zach Hallman, Ode Moreau, Danny Batar. Yes, John Graziani. We have Zainab Hamoud. Yeah, so, and then we have another list when, those are just like our House Counsel. And then we have, when it goes out to the regional office, we don't appoint attorneys, everything is done. They fill out an attorney request form. It goes to the regional office appoints an attorney. The court is not to have any part of that whatsoever. So there can be no,
Conflict of interest?
yes, no conflict. That's the point of MIDC too. They wanted to take the courts out of it. So it's really not a court grant, it's really a city grant, but I've been handling it and been inside, so I know the ins and outs, so I just try to keep track.
Thank you very much.
And then we have, are you fine with that? Are we all good?
All good?
Okay. So we can move on to the building fund, which is Fund 105. That is basically expenditures of the MIDC. I really don't know how to explain the expenditures. I mean, they get,
It just shows the exact revenue.
Okay, Mariana, you memorized the budget. Okay, go ahead.
okay. And so we have, so the building fund is Fund 105. That is basically, we take $10 from each moving violation or misdemeanor.
I'm sorry, what page is that?
That is on page 35.
35.
35. Tripping.
Well, Mariana, for page 42, I think it's the same thing. It just needs to, okay.
you take $10 from every moving fine?
So we do $10 from every moving violation, speeding, red light, disobeying traffic signal, change lanes, what have you, and any misdemeanor. When it's paid, $10 from the initial fine comes to, we designate it to this building fund. And the building fund is to help pay for the TIFA bond, so the bond for the Justice Center. So that goes into that. So when we do my transmittal every month, I see how many moving violations we had and how many misdemeanors we have, and then it's $10 from each of those breakdown, and it gets put in my transmittal letter, and then it gets moved over from the GL account from the revenue over to that portion, which is not much, but I mean, last year we finished off at 74,130. Right now, currently, we're at 45,970, so we're probably on target to get to the 60,000 that was on there, I'm guessing. Because we're doing a lot more, it doesn't count for parking tickets. So if there was trash day parking, regular and proper parking, double parking, $10 doesn't come out of those fees. The fine and cost just go to the city for those. Okay. Any other questions? I think that
You
completes
did a great
the-
job, Michelle, again. You outworked the judge every time. I think the last time it was Judge Turfy, and this time it's Judge Plecky. They didn't have to say anything.
Oh, see, I tried to make it easy for them.
I will tell you, we would like to see, Judge, and obviously it starts with you guys, but we want to see an increase in some of our fines. We don't know if to pass the resolution through us, and then you guys just start enforcing, making sure that.
The fines are up, they're set by the state, so we have to do within the recommended fines and costs that are set by the state. So we can't just skyrocket our
Well,
fines.
I don't mean that, but I mean like, I'm talking like our ordinance fines. I don't mean,
That is something that you guys do.
Yeah.
So
So
what
I-
impacts, I have a note here, so in June of 2023, the ordinance fines and schedule changed by, city attorney has it presented, they have to change the ordinance because it's part of the ordinance. And then city council approves it, so we went up $50 across the board on all of those. So that would stem from you guys, we don't have a say in that because it's an ordinance.
okay.
It's a municipal civil infraction too.
Those are the municipal civil infractions, yeah, those are all ordinance violations. So that doesn't, the court doesn't set those fines and costs, and the state doesn't set those fines and costs, that comes from within.
Thank you.
By the way, Council Chair Michelle was acknowledged last month for Women's Month for her contribution to the city for leading an outstanding department. So thank you again and congratulations.
And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Council.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You guys have a
I remember the
wonderful
first time
evening.
doing my budget hearing, Michelle walked in, I said, oh, nice, what do you do here? I had no idea.
Well, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Judge. Have a great day, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So next up, we're gonna have the CDBG department, which is page 33 on the budget and page 18 on the personnel page. We have Director Saad to go over her department.
Director, good evening. How you doing?
Evening. Doing well. How are you?
Can you pull your mic actually out and then hold it close? You can just take the actual mic out, yes. Keep telling me.
Better?
Much better.
Okay. Okay, so if you guys are unfamiliar, which I'm sure you guys are very familiar with, our allocations, they do come from HUD. So as of now, we don't have our HUD allocation, but this is just a projection based off of last year's budget and last year's allocations. So I'll break that down a bit for you, and then if you have any questions, feel free to ask at the end. So I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Lael. I'm the director of the Community and Economic Development Department, and today I'm presenting the draft budget for program year 2025-2026. So through community surveys and outreach, we've identified key priorities such as housing rehabilitation, code enforcement, senior and youth services, and neighborhood revitalization. So our proposed activities and budget overview. General program admin, we've set aside $216,463, which supports compliance, planning, and oversight. Public service activities, we have set aside $162,347.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. Are you reading something that can be shared with us?
Correct?
34, 33.
No, 33.
This is just a script.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can share
It
it.
is 34.
sorry.
No, that's okay.
Do they have a personnel page too?
Yes, page 18.
18 for that.
Page 34 is also Florida, correct, Mandy?
Yeah, community and development. This looks like it is their.
Patty, page 18 only has one. Is that because the rest are part-time?
Yes.
Yeah, so our staff, we have 3 part-time employees. Yep. So what is it? Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to go over what I have as of right now, what we've drafted into our annual action plan, and then we'll go over the general ledger. So for our general program administration, as mentioned, about $216,463, which supports compliance, planning, and oversight, and then public service activities, $162,347, which includes senior services and Fair Housing Center of Metro Detroit. We typically set aside $6,000 every year for the Fair Housing Center. And then the remaining allocation, which will be approximately $703,505. This will support housing rehab, code enforcement, and any potential new partnerships to expand services and support code remediation, which is something new that we've been thinking about. This also makes room for any new projects or, any RFPs that we send out for potential projects that will be in place of what we've spent for the Van Houten Park project. So we are also exploring partnerships with local organizations to enhance our reach and impact, and evaluating opportunities to increase funding for housing services, especially those tied to code violations. So that's basically what we're doing right now. That's what I have now for the annual action plan. And then we can move on to.
I appreciate your efforts in putting this together. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, these are all estimates, so it is.
So basically, the budget that's presented.
Take the mic, please.
So basically, the budget that was presented to you was calculated based on estimates. So the numbers that she's presenting is going to be slightly different. So we can update the numbers based on what she is presenting to you, as this budget was created before the action plan was created.
Yeah, this is the most updated that we have.
Is there a way you guys can email that to us, to all the council, and we can publicize it to the.
So just as a reminder, the CDBG budget doesn't really get set until October. So there's going to be public hearings where everybody's going to be invited. But again, for budgeting purpose, it is important to have just the estimates in there, but these are not the actual numbers that are going to be proposed in the end and approved by HUD.
Thank you.
But if you'd like her to forward the action plan to you, then.
Please do so.
Yeah, we can also forward, we also have the draft annual action plan right now, so I can forward that to you as well if you want to look through it, if that will help anything. It gives like kind of a further breakdown of what we plan.
Are we working on any grants currently? Can we find any grants right now? Because we just had the Justice Center have their meeting where they anticipate needing, well, they don't anticipate, they need. They went from a wish to a need for new carpet. And, I know in the past, the CEDD department always went above where like if we needed a grant, they're out working on it. Do you know if there's anything you can work on for us currently, assist us in maybe capturing that? There's some things for the police department. Today we just sat through a presentation to update our AI programs. And so if there's anything, Masad, that you can find to assist us, I know it's not economic development, but we're pampered for so long, where Mr. Jamal, former director, used to do CEDD, also used to do grants. I don't know why, but he did.
Yeah.
And he was good at it.
Right.
I know Mariana's nodding her head, but he did. So
just as a reminder, our current funding scout is Wade Trim. So it's funding scout, and they have been reaching out to every department asking for all the needs that they have. So I know that they've been working diligently on that. And particularly right now, we're in the appropriations period for all of the earmarks. So we've submitted to every single one of our representatives for that. A lot of those are infrastructure based, which are the harder ones to find grants for. So
we can apply for like the hard ones and the easy ones. you know?
It's just, there's not a lot of funding available for capital improvement. So again, they're looking at everything. We're applying to everything that we possibly can.
Have we received anything from Wade Trim and, you know, our funding scouts? Have we gotten any money from them at all? If so, can you give me a sum?
So we have about 35 active grants right now. Again, most of these grants are reimbursement grants, so as you spend the money, you get reimbursed for it.
What if
But,
you don't get the money to spend?
so the council typically approves that when
I
the
know,
grant
but
is
the-
approved, and then it's budgeted during budget season.
You're right, the council will approve that, but what's the administration?
So a lot of them have already been approved and
One minute.
budgeted. So we received $2 million for the water projects that we have going on
Can you
right
give me 1
now.
minute? I don't mean to interrupt you, I swear.
It's
My
okay.
question is, not the council, the administration presents something to us. The administration knows the day-to-day numbers. So if the administration knows we have no way of funding this, don't put it before the city council and say, well, the city council, you guys approved it. That's my question.
We wouldn't do that, sir. Again, the grants that I'm referring to are from water, and you do have the funding in water for those.
Okay, that's great,
So-
and I love that. And we can borrow for other projects like parks and, you know, capital improvements, or maybe finding things for DPW, man.
See, the thing is, I realize about funding scouts, they don't focus, that they don't focus anything on grants outside of water infrastructure or CSOs, because I've never had them come to us and say, here, we got you a grant for a park or something.
They've applied for grants for parks. We haven't been awarded those, but definitely we have applied for them before. We've applied for
But
them
we're way
still.
off topic, let's stick
So,
on
yeah.
Director Saad's budget. I'm sorry, I was just kind of in my thoughts,
No, you're
forgive me.
fine. It's definitely things that I've thought and considered before, and I have been in the process of reaching out to other entities. I have connections at Wayne County as well who have been helping me to kind of generate ideas, connect me
To be
to
like
potential
Ahmed Sheikh and
grants.
them?
His
Hassan
name,
Sheikh?
yeah. And also, I'm not sure if you know Dave from Wayne County.
Which Dave Kinesic, it's a great.
I forget his last name, but is that his name? Yeah, so I've been going back and forth with him, and we've been, you know, he's been connecting me to a lot of people and things, so I have a lot of ideas, a lot of different ideas, not even just regarding infrastructure, but for...
You know, and I'm sorry, I don't
No,
mean
it's
to
okay.
cut you off. So Dearborn actually reconstructed their entire CEDD department,
Yeah,
and they made like business liaisons out of that department.
yep.
And they've like reconstructed it, and it's been very pivotal in the community the last 4 years. Something maybe you should look into.
Absolutely, yeah. I've mentioned before my plans for revitalizing Warren Avenue and things of that nature, so
Or
that's
maybe Ford
definitely
Road,
long-term.
Or maybe Van Born.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, Warren Avenue is a DDA district.
Yep.
Never,
Never captured any
Yes, it
money
is.
though.
Yeah, so I think it would be good.
I got it from the county, yes, it is.
Guys, it is.
From-
Dan Palaco created it as a DD district, and that's why you can have smart buses to come through that department.
Correct.
And yes, it is. I promise you it is. But we just haven't captured any tax time because we never followed through with it. But the truth
But
is,
it
it
is.
was designed to,
Yeah.
like the benches on the side, the certain follow-up
Streetscape.
trees.
Okay, how can we follow up and capture taxes then?
We need a master plan first. But we've been waiting on a master plan for 4 years, saying that. Or Lael Saad, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, well, definitely something that behind the scenes I've been doing my research on. So
Thank you.
yeah, I'll keep you guys in the loop for sure.
And then share this,
The script,
yes,
yeah, I can send you guys an email.
thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions for Leo?
Nothing else.
Okay. Well, this-
So, if there's no more questions regarding CDBG, we are going to be moving on to the Department of Public Works, starting with the Highway Department. That is going to be page 23 on the budget. Yes, you, Mr. Dancy.
You want the
And then
truth?
page 15 on the personnel page.
We just want to look at overtime. That's all we want to make sure, that there's enough overtime for them.
Is that 23?
Yeah.
It's 20 on the personnel.
23 on the,
23
oh,
is
sorry about that.
is ordinance.
24 on the budget, 15 on the personnel page.
Never share all these with me because you gave me last year's.
highway.
Where's the personnel page? All right, so right now budgeted for highway department, looks like we total up at 15. From all of my experience and knowledge in talking to both employees, administration, neighboring cities.
What are you talking about right now? I'm sorry?
Oh, just the personnel budget here.
Well, I'm not.
This one,
Labor
What page
force.
was it you said?
15
15?
in personnel.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So at a minimum, I'm thinking we're really, I mean, if we want to function a little bit better than we are currently, we really need at least 16 people in the field, which would put us at highway, we'd have 5 heavies, 5 lights, and 4 laborers.
Is this saying 15 people total? And DPW?
Yeah, this is total, so.
Highway.
Just highway. Yeah, just highway department.
saying you need a budget for another
But if you
person?
think about it, that's, I mean, it's taken me, our 2 highway supervisors, which are vital. The 9, 10, 11, those are the 11 in the field. And then 1 clerk, 1 out of the 2 that are up front. So, I mean, you have, between me, the 2 superintendents,
What do you need?
we need to add another, at least at a minimum, another light and 2 laborers to the, if you want to get to 16 in the field.
2 light, and 2 labor.
That would at least, at a minimum, get us to 16 in the field in the event that we,
You need about,
200,000 minimum without longevity.
question is, are we gonna be able to find these employees?
no, not at the rate we pay them, no.
Well, that's
I mean,
the
I'm
thing.
just-
You're not gonna,
Yeah.
we're gonna budget for it, we're not gonna find the employees. Let's find the employees. If we do, you could do a budget amendment and bring them. How does that sound?
I mean, yeah, we're trying to. I mean, with our new HR department, we have started to get in some applicants. It's difficult to pay them when we pay them 60 to 70% of all the neighboring communities, but we'll try.
I know
So,
someone who worked
I'm just,
for.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know what our neighboring communities don't do? Offer the pensions that we offer. The longevity that we
They
offer.
work 5 days instead of 4 days. and
Yeah,
they
their
don't have much
full-time is
overtime.
only 32 hours.
Help me find them, man.
Or
Find
look,
them.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they're willing to come out and renegotiate, we'll go to 40 hours, clock in, clock out, make 50 grand.
I agree. That's what I suggested right when I got here. It didn't work yet.
I'm ready for that all day. That'll save the city. How about this? Take away the longevity, say we don't have to give you all these type of longevities, and we'll come out right now, we'll give them
Yeah.
60 grand.
This is for discussions at a later date,
Yeah,
but
you're basically paying them 80.
right now for,
Paying them 90.
but I'm just putting in like what I feel at least should be requested in the budget. It
I'm
doesn't
okay with
necessarily-
budgeting it one
But-
more for you.
Whatever work, I mean,
Yeah, I'm okay, Mehdi. We need to figure that out. Let's increase it to 16.
One
Where-
what, though?
Would you like
light
a
or-
general labor, or do you want a light equipment operator?
yeah, we increased the general labor here 1. So then, I mean, ideally, we'd have 5, 5, and 4.
Because right
That would
now,
get us
general
to-
labor, you only have 1.
No, there's 2. You're looking at the clerk position's got 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that up 1?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, 5, 5, and 2, 5, 5, and 4 would be ideal. But right now, if we're at 5, 4, and 3, I guess we're headed in the right direction. Now we got to find these employees that'll work here.
Are we budgeting for any of them that are not here?
Right now, we currently have,
How many do we have currently budgeted for, and how many do we have?
no, that's what we currently have budgeted for, right? 2024.
We're budgeting for 15 right now. Do you
Yeah.
have 15 currently right now?
No. We got 4 heavies, 2 lights, and 2 laborers working right now.
Hey, I understand. I said, I want to know,
Short on a half.
are we budgeting for anyone that, to potentially hire, or are these all filled positions currently?
No, we're not fully staffed yet. So we're short 1 heavy right now, we're short.
No, I know you might be short. I mean, they could be on like FMLA or leave or whatnot. I mean, like, do we have funding set aside to be able to pay if a new person comes in for these?
He wants to add a person, so there isn't, correct?
How many employees are currently in the water department?
Highway, hold on.
Highway, I'm
We'll go
sorry,
to
the
that,
highway
yeah.
department.
Let's see, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12.
Okay, and we're budgeting for 15.
Yeah, So we're,
So we're budgeting for 3 additional, so adding another one, it doesn't make any sense for us until you hire the 3 and get the 4th one in there.
He's saying get to full staffing before you add.
Once you can fully full staff, then we'll add an additional employee.
yeah, I mean, that's fine. When we do these requests, my job is to tell you what we should be at.
Yeah.
And where
Really
we
should
need
have
to be
20
at.
instead of
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's leave it at 15.
So,
George,
yeah.
if that's okay. Leave it at 15. Let's make sure that let's get with our HR director and fill these positions. And halfway through the year, if you're like, hey, man, I'm able to get another employee, we'll up it up to 50,000 and get you that other employee.
That's a goal, man. Goal. What do you want?
Yeah. We're not gonna budget for 16, we're gonna stay at 15. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want me to go down all these?
You still have the other departments at the DPW.
This is just highway. He's got 2 others.
Can we just read through them, or are we answering questions here? Yeah. Salaries, that's just basic math by what we got. We pay everybody less than they should, but that's all right. Part-time, we don't have anything budgeted. Overtime, the amount of work we have relative, just basic numbers, relative to the actual employees we
Hold
have.
on, part-time, what do we have for them?
0. I don't need part-time work in highway. We need full-time 0.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I was thinking overtime, okay.
No, yeah, no. Part-time, I don't see any reason to budget anything part-time in highway. You need full-time work or none.
Okay, overtime, let's talk that.
So overtime right now is just, basic math. You got a 24-hour operation. Right now, we've since just cut it all. So we either got to change our expectations or realize that if we have staff that, even if you say it's fully staffed, but we know it's understaffed, of course they're going to have to work overtime for pretty much any activity after you actually take out the emergencies. So even if we spend the emergency time, spend the overtime, to my knowledge, it used to be budgeted at 200. Apparently the budget didn't balance according to everybody, so we just cut it in half and said, now it should be that. So we can either
Hold on. No.
cut it way down to 0 and just change our expectations, or we can actually get the task done that we need to get done.
Hold on. Really, you know what? Look, you want to cut, really overtime was, this guy's spending $255,000 a year and we're giving him 150. Let's go to 200 on overtime. DPW is huge.
Water main breaks.
Well,
That's, yeah, I guess.
So if we're not gonna budget for the 16 and take it up 80,000, let's at least give them additional 50 and take that overtime to 200,000. Well, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you're hearing it from me loud and clear. You are in charge of that overtime.
Agreed.
You better maintain that overtime.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to come back to us and be like, well, hey guys, I need I don't know what happened.
That's not gonna happen.
No, you need to figure that out.
Yeah.
So you need to be proactive. You need to be able to figure it out. You need to diagram this. Hey, if I have this many employees doing this much overtime at this much pace, this is how much I can give for the year. Figure that number out and do it.
Yeah.
So let's go
We're on the same page here, man.
But let's take that up $50,000.
And right now, even this year, with Paycom, we haven't had time, I haven't exactly had time to figure this out. A decent number of the highway overtime budget right now could be attributed to the water, in the sense that when we had 30 main breaks a month with 4 guys fixing them, highway guys had to go out, salt, clear the road, because it's just blowing out and freezing. So there's a decent amount of highway overtime. We've had to call highway guys in just to haul material in and out during main breaks, and there's no way in Paycom to identify that. So that's part of, even if you want to attribute
Get rid of Paycom.
why highway's over.
Get rid of them.
So if an employee or employees ever work for a different fund, the director can send a notice to the comptroller's office and we can make a journal entry to reallocate those funds. Most payroll systems will not allow a single person to be part of multiple funds, and if they did, it would be very tedious, and the employee themselves could make a lot more mistakes. So in the case where any employee works for a different fund, my recommendation is the director just send an email to myself and the
There you
payroll.
go. There you go. That's even easier.
That's it.
Move on.
Easy.
Good?
Main man.
You get that though? That's just a task on the director though.
Sure.
All right, but we just gave you an additional 50 grand.
Go for it.
Next up, now we're going to clothing.
Clothing, this has been the first year we finally got uniforms in. I've never seen a city that's supposed to be of this size. DPW guys have no uniform, so we finally got a program in place.
Are we getting also helmets? Are we getting helmets?
Yes. So those might come out of supplies, but the clothing budget, we're just starting to get invoices in. So it'll be easier to budget in coming years for how much that program is actually costing us.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go down.
That's what I'm saying, is I don't know if it needs to go up, down, or if it's just right.
Well,
This is the
clothing,
first year we've started the training, or the clothing program. These next few, I don't think I have any influence over. Hospital insurance, life insurance.
Nope.
supplies.
Supplies went up.
Whoa.
For who?
Yeah.
All of the departments, sorry.
In all of the departments, you're going to see a combination of supplies and material supplies general ledger number because they were used for the same purposes, which is supplies. So you are combining, in this case, 728 and 730. So eventually 730 will not
Can you
be
do me a
budgeted
favor?
for.
Can you take the supplies from 37,500 to 37,000 even? And add that $500 to clothing? So again, we're not changing the amount of money, we're just giving $500 more in clothing.
You got it.
You got that, Mahdi?
Yeah, I'm just making.
George, are we good? So we're gonna take $500 from the supplies, so it's gonna go from 37,500 to 37,000 flat. We're gonna take the clothing from 13,650, we're gonna add the 500, which will take it to 14,150, I believe.
Yep.
So that new number will be 14,150, because in the past they used 14,714. At least we're about off about $600 there, a little less than 600. And it makes up for, in case Director Dancy needs to spend more money in clothing. Fair?
Find out, like I said, that's all in a program, so we don't actually, luckily, we don't have to, right now, we don't purchase, we get them washed. Everybody gets 10 uniforms. They get washed every week, so we'll see what the invoices come out at. We down at emergency storm. 10 grand will get you about 1, maybe 2 trees, so we'll see how that goes.
Emergency storm?
Yeah.
Isn't that down where we're at?
Yeah. 731.
This is in case of an emergency, a bunch of trees falls, we have $10,000, that's all we got?
That's what it says.
What are you guys talking about?
Does it come with the prayer book?
So again, this is based on the historical use for emergency storm. It seems consistent with what we've been spending typically. We also have a contractual service for that, and the DPW employees are typically the ones that respond to that. So this is in addition to the
The truck's
employees
broken.
responding to that. And it's the additional, like, non-contracted items.
All right, thank you. Road supplies? Is that for cold patch and stuff?
I believe that's what we bring that's one of the major ones, and that one runs us about, right now, coal patch is up $7,200 per 50 ton. That's the minimum you can order, and that lasts us maybe like 3 or 4 streets. So,
Well, that's good, because we went up on that one.
yeah.
Extra 25,000, so I'm okay with that. Street signs. Can we up this?
Director, I have a question about street signs. When a stop sign, something goes out from an accident, why does it take 3 months for it to be put back up?
Labor force. I mean, I don't know if that's accurate. That may have happened once. I wouldn't say that was probably I would argue that's not the going
I'm not
average.
saying it's you that
Yeah.
because you're here, it's been going on, like,
Yeah.
there's one on Wilson and Dover that's literally been out for months, and you guys have a small
A little tripod.
tripod put on there. I just don't understand why somebody can't go out there and hook it
Oh, we
back
can
up.
definitely go out
Because
there
they're
and do that,
running
but-
stop signs there like crazy. People don't see it, because the cars park right in front of it.
Hey, if you're gonna give up one example, I don't know why it would be out there that long.
Just send them an email.
You know, I'll tell you this, stop sign was added about 4 years ago when I first got on council, my father almost got struck there. It's right by my parents' home, and I sent a video to the former police chief. Next day, he had a stop sign out, but here it is, it's damaged. And it's been like 3 months and it has been, I mean, maybe nobody told you guys, maybe the police report didn't get to DPW. I don't know, maybe it's the
Yeah,
overtime. But the street sign here, I would like to take this up.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely want to take this up to at least,
20.
I know we're limited on budgeting, but this is imperative. I think street signs we can give this at least another $5,000. You know, I really want to go another 20 grand, but, I mean,
Just make it 20 even then. I mean, I don't know, they spent about almost 9 so far.
because we're not putting out anything.
Yeah, we
You
don't,
need to
I mean, you guys still got to send 1 or 2 guys out, take out old poles, call in Mistig, put a
Or
new one
adding,
in. I'm
or
not
adding,
trying,
or adding new
yeah.
poles.
We need to add new people to do it, but sure.
No, man, but,
Good.
okay, let's take that
Yeah.
$4,000 up, please. We'll make it 20 even, yes.
On road supply
Signs.
or signs, okay.
You know, I requested because I'd like to see a lot more stop signs added across the city. Public safety should be
Yeah.
at its high.
Contractual services. I guess, yeah, dues members, there's nothing. Contractual services. Again, that's what we use for most of the tree trimming.
No, I think tree trimming has its own budget. Its own line, I mean.
Yeah, that's separate.
It does.
And I'll probably use that for some of the invoice unless you change them.
Tree remove, right there.
Contractual services, that is probably fine. I
No,
don't
different
know if
companies that we use that we potentially, sign up with, like to cut our grass.
No, Congress has its own line too.
Yes, it does.
So what's it for?
So I know last year we used it to paint all of the the crossroads and the schools, because we didn't have the machines to have our own staff do it with the right paint that doesn't vanish with the water. So when they painted all of those that was requested, it was done through a contractual
DPW can't
company.
do it?
They don't have the equipment for it right now.
Remember, we hired a company, they went out, stripped the streets, and did them. But I thought we paid that, it was a full invoice that we paid that. It was like 200 and,
Yeah, but that's contractual services. I mean, that's fine, but, okay. Fine.
I think they did streets and corners up to 300 feet.
So
away
this
from
is what was
schools.
last year, so we're about this year. I mean, for the upcoming year, we're gonna do the same thing?
Yeah, Ali Deep said every year you would get restriped.
I mean, yeah, if we don't need it, we don't
You
use
gotta
it.
tell Myra
But-
King.
I would assume a decent amount of that contractual services is hauling in and out of materials. Like, that's probably actually a lot of it. We spend a lot of money hauling in and out of materials, whether it be large trees that were taken down, whether it be sand, gravel, broken up concrete, wood. It's a decent expense, because you're taking down, yeah.
How much you guys pay a truckload?
We could look at the invoices. I can send you a couple of them.
Yeah,
I'm
because
sure we got,
I'd
yeah.
love to see the numbers and maybe we
Yeah.
can go back out for bid for that.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that.
City grass cutting?
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this is primarily used for city-owned properties, not all of our buildings that we maintain, because there's
We can sell them.
city-owned property. So I don't,
The other city grass cuttings are on a different line.
Let's get to this tree remove. We're at 122,000. We gave you a budget of 140. You have until June 30th to figure that out. I want to make sure that you're able to get to the 140.
oh, yeah.
Like,
We can
it has
get,
to be.
we can get to the 140 probably by the end of the month if we wanted to. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure that, that'll all be spent, easy.
All right?
That one really honestly could go as high as we wanted to.
Why do we have
Everybody
tree
knows this.
planting at $0?
They don't have any plant.
We have
I don't-
a tree fund for that. And we use, still needs this line item.
That's correct. There is a tree fund for it. There's a revenue that's specific for this purpose. When there's a need to plant new trees, you budget for it and you plant them. At the moment, no requests have come in to plant new trees.
We're gonna have to, anytime you take down a tree, you gotta plant a new tree. So if you get $140,000 to remove trees, You need to at least have money to plant trees. We don't just remove them and leave them.
We don't necessarily remove trees, we trim them.
No, we have tree removals.
So, yeah, I agree there should be some money in there for tree planting. I think historically over the last few years, any money that's been in there, they've tried to bid out and get prices to plant trees. Usually it runs like $600 a tree to replant them, and then they try to get a list of any residents that want a tree in their front yard and get it planted. But I think over the last however many years, they've realized that you got to find some way to cut into some of the other over budgeted line items. So that just tends to be one that goes, you say.
Yeah, you know what we
should
should,
still have it in here.
You know what we can start doing?
It doesn't go to the other areas.
Fair. All right.
Let me tell you what we can start doing. We can start telling residents, we're gonna take down this tree, but you have to pay for the new tree.
No, we do that, yeah.
That's what the ordinance provides for.
Okay, that's,
Yeah, the money's restricted because that's exactly what we do. We just need to-
well, no, but if the tree is diseased, like, the resident shouldn't be like, why am I paying for it? But like, if the resident wants the tree taken down, you should come back and say, okay, we're gonna take down the tree, right, because it's diseased, but, and you really wanna go, but you're gonna plant the new tree, it's gonna be $600, give us a check.
Yeah, but we don't take the tree down if it's not diseased and dying,
Right,
Well, sometimes if
They
it's
can't- But
even-
overgrown.
Yeah.
you know?
ruining the concrete.
So actually, we do now. There was an ordinance passed by the council that does allow us to remove trees just because the resident wants it.
No, not us, not at our expense, we do it at.
Not
their
at our expense,
Yeah.
no, at their expense, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, when you remove a tree from a particular easement, you can't plant the tree right there immediately because there's still a stump, there's still the roots damaged. So again, finding the location to where to put the additional trees.
We want it back in the same spot. If you take a tree
that's
off my
where-
easement, you better plant me a new tree.
Okay, so then maybe that's something that the department needs to track because I don't believe it's being tracked currently. And I don't know how long they truly need to wait to plant it in the same location. But I believe the soil needs some time.
No.
No, because once they remove the chips, they backfill it with soil and then you plant a new tree.
Right now, typically we do try to do, most people that want the tree removed don't want a tree there. We could just force them to do it and we could start planting them. I would like that. I mean, we'll go out to bids and we'll have to purchase a decent amount of trees.
That's not up to
But-
them, that's actually. in the
Yeah.
ordinance.
Exactly. I mean, that's the goal is eventually we're just going to start to where anytime a tree is removed, we'll just plant a new one right there.
You have
You can
to.
do-
Can we
Yeah.
get them donated by Arbor Tree?
So what, they can give
The
us sycamores
association?
again?
No, no.
Yeah, somebody got a good deal on sycamores back
Well,
like
the
40
one
years
Former
ago.
mayor's brother had one.
They must have had the discount deal on
Yeah,
them.
it is.
I'll have one.
That's the plan going forward. I mean, as we move into different budget years, to be able to just plant them right where they're at, regardless of the resident's preference. Comp expense, I don't know what that is.
Sorry, how much are we adding to tree planting?
As much as we can.
How much do you want to add to tree planting?
Know how much you want to
5 or
add?
10,000.
I mean, you can leave it until we get a budget first, so we know.
Okay, so we're gonna request a budget.
I guess we'll go down to, I don't know what the 824 line item is. I don't think I have any influence over that.
What is that? Bless you.
What does that stand for?
No idea.
Is that compost?
Which one?
824. 200,000.
Compact
Compost?
I don't know, but they have money in there.
Yeah, 200,000.
What is that, Matty?
We're looking it up right now. Just wanted to confirm before with the information.
They only used 116 so far.
Yeah, the money's there.
Move on to the next one.
Move on to the next one? All right. Motor fuel, I'm assuming we can keep consistent. We did actually institute, probably 2 weeks ago, we do have a fleet tracking management system on the DPW vehicles now. So we're going through training. Right now, the IT director, Cooper, and I are the only two that can actually access the program, see where vehicles are at, print out reports. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where we'll be able to post where all the street sweepers were in a week, where the coal patch truck was in a week, where the main breaks were. So we can access it right now, so.
Are the street
At some point, we'll
sweepers
roll it
right
out.
now? Have they started going out?
Yeah, they are.
So as soon as I can navigate the program well enough to be comfortable to send it out to both council, administration, and social media team, people will be able to look up and see exactly where all 4 of the street sweepers have been for a week if we've been out doing that. I mean, right now, the highway department has the ability to do pretty much one activity at a time. So if we're out street sweeping, nothing's getting cold patch. We're out cold patching, nothing's getting street swept. It's just how many people we got.
Do we request to do it after the garbage gets picked up?
Oh, yeah, we're trying to,
There's no
yeah.
staff.
But for the motor fuel, we can leave it the same because I think hopefully we'll decrease a little bit with this fleet tracking management. You can kind of keep a better track on vehicles. Insurance, underground tank storage liability, that's for the 2 tanks at the DPW. That actually, I think the prices on that went up. I think our invoices went up a little bit more. We have a third-party company that comes in and inspects those underground tanks, and I think the invoices got a little bit higher than what it was. So
Are those
We
metal
either-
tanks or those fiberglass tanks?
unaware, they might even be concrete tanks. They're old enough. To my knowledge, they've never been replaced, so they might even be,
Yeah, they're probably metal tanks.
yeah. So I would assume if, just to avoid going over budget or something, to raise that $500 or so, because it's something that we don't really control. I mean, we pay that third-party company to inspect the tanks to keep the liability off us in the event there's any type of gas or diesel leaks. And I know DPW is not the only one that uses that. Everybody's got a card, so there are other departments that come in the event they need to fill there.
So you said the director asking for $500 more?
I just noticed the actual invoices have gone up from, I don't know, they send them, I think they do it monthly, and they've gone up $25 or $50.
Which department?
We're at the underground storage tank liability.
11.
You want to take it up $500?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, if we want to avoid it just arbitrarily going over, because the invoices from the Phoenix Environmental Group, to my knowledge, have gone up a little bit.
Take it up $500.
The underground storage tank liability is from Carrico Maldigan, and I believe it's $2,900. I can go into accounts payable and get you the exact invoice amount for the year. Give me one moment.
Give them the 500.
Just make it 3,000.
Yeah, those eventually should be
Give it the 300, we
replaced.
can figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, then.
I mean,
Yeah, so make it 3,000, please.
So the comp expenditure is the interfund between highway and other funds, as the highway does do work for other funds. And then the other funds do work for highway as well.
excuse my hair, anybody that's watching.
We're at traffic
You're
light
right.
maintenance.
You're in the heat.
Yeah, that's what we pay Wayne County for, so no need to adjust. Repair and maintenance equipment, obviously, every year, it's pretty factual that you'd have to increase it just based on the age of anything. We use that to purchase any odds and ends to either fix vehicles in the shop when we can.
You know,
Chainsaws break, anything.
You're only, we gave you 35,000, you only used less than 13 grand this year.
No, that's for the,
He's on
that was the
next
traffic
line.
light
Next
maintenance.
line.
Yeah.
What is it?
He wants
75,
85.
The one under
Well,
932,
how much are we at? I mean, we've already only used 45,000.
yeah.
Like, you didn't even use half of what we gave you.
The
No, he used
projected
more.
is
You
75.
gave him 75, he used 45 so far.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's more than half.
okay, a little more than half.
I can use it. It'll be used by the, as soon as we want.
Okay, we got a month to use
Yeah.
$50,000, to use $25,000, $30,000.
Okay, that's an easy thing to do.
So let's use it, let's not wait to the end and squeeze ourselves. Because then when it comes to this year, towards the end of the budget year, we're like, why do we need to give you more? You've only used you've only used $45,660 when we gave you a budget of $75,000.
How about repair and maintenance?
Hey, I try to come out under budget when we can, but we'll use it.
But I would rather, I mean, if you don't need to use it, I'd rather put that money elsewhere, like overtime or something.
Oh, there's plenty of things we can use. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things we can, believe me.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm okay with leaving it at
All right,
75.
Yeah, that's fine. And training's probably just fine at 4,500. I don't know if we've used a lot of it yet, but springtime's when a lot of these guys, I try to send them to classes. And I think historically, the employees just have never been offered the opportunity to do it as consistently, so.
We only used 1,100 so far.
Yeah, that was 2 that went to 1 class, and I think there's two in May. I plan on sending a couple, so it might go up to, I mean, this year we might spend a little bit less than that, but I'm hoping we can put that into other parts of the budget this year. But going forward, we'll be spending that on training for employees.
Okay. It looks all about right.
That is it for the highway department. Next up, we're going to have building.
Do you want to talk about your? Sorry, I do want to just mention the capital outlay needs, because if you see, there was a request of $706,000. A lot of the equipment in the department is either non-functioning or extremely old and needs replacement. So again, the director did his due diligence and made a lot of requests
You know,
for
you know
items.
what we wanted to do? We wanted to use ARPA money for that, and we weren't allowed to.
It's not allowed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, other cities say otherwise.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you find any legal person that allows that to happen, you can do that. And other cities have used it, as I've explained, from their revenue loss money, not from the restricted amounts, which is what we have.
Related to the capital outlay, just some priorities as we have discussions regarding all this.
Sorry, another item that I don't know why exactly the comptroller forgot to include in the budget, but I do recommend that we look into it, and I can give you the exact numbers, but it's the Safe Streets grant and the Safe Routes to School grant. So those are two grants that the council has already approved, and we're currently working on those projects. So we're spending a little bit this year, but there will definitely be remaining funds for the
What are
following
we
year.
using them for? I know. What are we doing to make the streets safer? Like Dearborn's putting.
So the
speed bumps.
Safe Routes to School is the beach daily pedestrian crossing that's being implemented. And the other one is a road safety audit program that we're looking at Annapolis Street from Annapolis Street from Telegraph to Merrick and Pardee Avenue to Annapolis Street and Van Born Road.
I
So
thought
they're
we weren't
doing
using
a
the
road
money
safety
for that.
audit. I thought we weren't what?
I thought we weren't using the money. I thought we got a different grant for the crosswalk.
This is the grant that I'm referring to. So there's an MDOT grant through SEMCOG for the beach daily pedestrian crossing.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
Sorry.
When was this grant given?
Just recently.
It's not that recent, actually. It's over a year old. There were some delays because the owner of the property where we wanted to do the crossing went to the state and said that he didn't want it at that location and won. So we had to find an alternative location to redo it. So new engineering had to be done for it. So it was delayed a little bit. But I know that currently the engineering and everything is in process. So again, I just wanted to point that out. If you want, we can come back later with the exact numbers, but these are the totals of what the grants are. And they both have a 20% match that is coming from local and major roads, not from the general fund.
That's all I got for the budget, unless you just want a quick discussion on capital improvements.
No, we're okay. We can go to
Capital
the next,
outlay, yeah,
we can go to the next budget.
easy enough.
You know what, all it's gonna do is upset me because I
Yeah,
know that you
you're
need
good.
something,
Yeah,
but we
you're
can't
right.
afford to give it to you. Maybe our treasurer can figure it out.
So for the budget, is it okay if we budget the expenditures and offset it with the revenue since the grant has already been awarded? And when we present the new budget with all the changes
Do
that
we
we're
ha-
doing
I
in the
mean-
public hearings,
Money's not in hand.
Well, the money wouldn't come to you until you,
complete the work, correct?
and then if we're using it from, major and local streets, the issue is.
So the part that's getting reimbursed will be coming from the general fund until it's reimbursed. The match is coming from local and major.
I know, but then the issue is, like, you see our roads? You know, like, I'd rather find a way in the general fund to figure it out than to use our local and major roads.
So the total amount for the matches is $29,156 for the beach daily pedestrian crossing, and the other one is $40,000 for the Annapolis audit action
I
plan.
mean, I guess, you're right. I mean, we were awarded it. We have to match. We're gonna use it from here. 49,000, how much money do we have in our major and local roads?
We're gonna go through it in a little bit, but it's in the millions.
Okay, go ahead.
So next up, we're gonna do building maintenance, which is page 10 on the personnel sheet and page 18 on the budget.
So personnel-wise, obviously, employees always tell me we need more, but I think we're all right with 12. We maintain 11 old and outdated buildings with respective adjacent parking lots and 10 accessory buildings and 9 parks. So we have in the field, right now, we only have one of the 2 crew leader positions. So right now, we are at a total of 11 being paid out of building maintenance, so we're still 1 shy. But I think once fully staffed, we'll continue to try to maintain as best we can. I don't think we need to. So salaries, those will keep them the same. I don't think there's any contractual increases in there for this next year. There could be.
So Director, those building maintenance, all they do is just maintenance for the buildings that we have?
Oh, that would be great if we could only do that, but we actually do anything and everything building maintenance. I got a list of, I mean, the list goes on and on, anything from parks, events, trimming, removing pretty much anything from any of these accessory buildings, the comfort station, storage buildings, concession stands. It would be great if the building department could only focus on building maintenance, but they spend, it's really building and grounds. So they pick up over 100 garbage cans around the city at garbage, parks, all the city buildings. Along Warren, I think we have some that we pick up, so that takes a decent amount of labor hours to do that.
So
So
the custodian, where does he work?
just here.
Just in the.
Yeah, it's just here from 3:30 or 4 until midnight.
Continue.
Let's see, part-time. Typically, we've used part-time to help with some of the mowing and weed whipping in the past. I say we keep it in there if we still have it in there. I don't anticipate using the part-time
Well, looks like they
employees
took
for
away the part-time, but they increased the overtime.
this one. Sure.
Did you hear me?
What?
It looks like they took away the part-time, but they gave you an additional 30,000 on overtime. So
Yeah.
the reality is, okay, then we'll take away from overtime and give it back to the part-time, so.
No, I'd rather have no part-time.
Okay, so then that's why they gave you an extra 30,000 in overtime.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'd rather. Yeah. Yeah. I think, I mean, the sooner this city, especially in the DPW, gets away from even budgeting and just not offering part-time, full-time or no, this is the
Yeah,
best way to do it.
we're moved past that one.
Overtime, 150, we'll make it work.
But, I mean, we have to. Because the reality is, you guys used 152 last year. Last year, you guys,
No, till now, 152.
yeah, but last year they spent 199,000. You see 200,000 last year. You're gonna have to work it out.
Oh, yeah.
And you're down 1 employee.
We are not even going to deal with Parkland Park this year. That'll cut out a large amount of overtime because a lot of it's spent on
Yep.
stuff being done in buildings that can't be done, painting while people are working in the drop-down ceiling while the building's open, and then mowing. A lot of times you can't do it.
Okay. Let's go to next, fringe benefits.
Clothing, that's just fine. We can leave where it's at. They're on the same program. So based on the number of employees, we're going to just budget it out so that obviously the clothing program's paying for each one respectively.
Supplies, you're at 36,000 currently. Are you gonna be able to use an additional $14,000 in the next month?
Oh, yeah. There's probably some, does this incorporate everything that we've already submitted?
In there.
Yeah. So this probably doesn't even incorporate all that's been submitted. So we're probably even already there, if not over. And like I said, a lot of those supplies, the building maintenance eats those costs, but it's for all the buildings and a lot of times other departments. So that might already be in the process of payment.
Okay.
Utilities,
Motor fuel. Motor fuel, activity, $2,000.
that's gonna go up all through the spring for mowing.
Yeah, but we get, this budget ends in a month or two.
So with DPW, what happens is that they fill out the large tank that's in the facility. So you typically have one large expense where they fill the entire tank. So that's typically how it's.
Repair and maintenance, 265.
So if honestly, this is just gonna continue to go up as all these buildings age. A lot of that repair and maintenance budget is all the different buildings. To my knowledge, the PD actually has some budgeted in theirs, but it's been difficult to organize which ones come out of which. So if we wanna, I'll try and keep it under whatever budget we make, but even this, you can make as high as you want, and it'll get used to hopefully start repairing some of these, because a lot of these buildings.
Give me an example, which kind of building?
Which building you want? City Hall? City Hall, we got buckets in the drop-down ceilings trying to keep leaks from falling in here, a roof that cannot be patched. This is what the contractor said. He literally walked up here, walked through them and said, I would patch this, but there's nothing to patch it to. So a lot of these things that will still be able, you can increase this as much as you want, because these guys will come in here, whether it be doors that don't work, water tanks that don't work, they'll come in here and find a way to repair them as best they can. If we can either put it into contractual services, but all of these expenses all over even this individual city. HVAC systems, the whole city's chopped up. This building specifically is chopped up in such a way that the HVAC never functions properly. It was never designed to have all of these different offices, different rooms. So the HVAC is constantly having problems. So all these repair and maintenance, even for this building, it's just continuing to increase. You're stressing all of these systems. The wind blows the wrong way and you got to go reset the whole system. So even as this specific one building, you got a roof that's in need of plenty of repairs that can't have any substantial repairs done to the roof because they can't, I've never seen like it. You can't patch it, you can't, anything.
Unique, huh?
Yeah.
One of a kind.
Yeah, it's one of a kind here, man. Like I said, I don't know historically what it is we've spent on repair and maintenance. I'm sure we've been as frugal as possible, making only necessary repairs. That's kind of how these buildings have gotten to this point. But if you want my honest opinion, we increase it. But I understand a lot of times when we're looking at a budget, you can't just increase it, because in my head and my knowledge of the operations, I can already see that we need more to kind of keep these from completely falling apart. But
That's why you're here, Director.
Yeah.
To do some magic.
Yeah,
I know
so
you're the
we're doing,
magic
man.
man.
This roof was redone just a couple of years ago.
not all of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, certain portions of it, I think, were redone. I don't know how many levels are actually on here, so. Obviously, the part that got redone, to my knowledge, is doing fine, but the rest of it's not, so. Hey, if we keep it at 265, we'll do our best to come under it. We'll find a way here. The repair and maintenance for this 932, we're just combining 932 and 931.
Okay.
Training, again, this year it might be down a little bit because I think just in a change in director, and I think previously DPW has just had either directors that really didn't pay too much attention to getting employees training, and then they were reluctant to ask if they could go to things. So this year, even if we come out under budget, I anticipate using all these in budgeting amendment to an overtime account, at least for this year, hopefully approved by council, so that we don't just absorb it back into the general fund.
So, moving on to capital outlay, what did you request 70,000 for?
We have roughly I submitted estimates, and we've kind of gotten some pricing on it. So roughly 60 grand for a new crew leader van that is completely out of service. A second one that's right at the end of its service life, a leaf and debris vacuum, because right now these guys are hand raking all these parks and putting them into a dump truck and driving them to the incinerator site or the DPW. That was about $48,000. We don't have a small bucket truck. It was decertified prior to me getting here, and we sent it to auction because there was not enough we'd have to check with police to figure out exactly how much they auctioned for and be able to get it back in the proper fund. But we asked about 140 estimate for a small bucket truck. Right now, with we can kind of split it with the highway department, but the highway department's bucket truck is down for hydraulic fixes because they all blew, and then the firemen had to come rescue the operator in it. So we did put in there request for a small bucket truck. Like I said, a lot of these buildings, the DPW building maintenance guys can't actually get on the roofs to clean gutters, inspect, check units. We were hoping to repurpose the chipper that highway has. They should use a much larger chipper. Building maintenance could kind of repurpose the one chipper that this department has for park sticks, everything like it. Really reduces the amount of labor. So 140 plus another 50. Honestly, that's probably even lower than what I got now, but that's what those are for. So if you want my current calculations right now, we're at, Marty, do the math, 120 plus 140 plus another 50.
Director, for this fiscal year, you used almost 30,000 for the capital outlay. You still have about good 52,000. So why don't you use it this year for that truck that you need?
Where are we going to get the rest of it from? Typically, they don't let you, hey, the price is 70 grand. I got 52. Can I give you that? I mean, I'm trying negotiating, but.
No, did you say that's 40?
No, the crew leader van right now, like I said, we got one that is just sitting at the shop out of service. I got the prices somewhere, probably in my email. I think I submitted it to you. I don't remember
Anyway, you
exactly.
still have about 52,000 you can work with for this fiscal year. Buy a truck or do whatever you need to do. No?
Can I buy something? Marty's telling me we got to use it for the repair and maintenance.
No, this is capital outlay. What is it? Am I wrong?
So he's already over budget on repairs and maintenance, and given that it is coming into the summer and a lot of the HVAC units are outdated, part of the cash flow management that myself and Director Vanderplow are trying to do is scrape up as much of the extra money from the budget to the line items that are in severely needed of that, and building maintenance, repairs and maintenance is one of them. So if you use it for the capital outlay, then the HVAC units, unless you want to do a budget amendment from the general fund balance, which I wouldn't recommend, we are going to be looking to take budgets that are available and move them into necessary budget line items at this point.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Sorry, Director.
Oh, you're all right. My main man, that's why we got Marty. My main man here.
I mean, I got excited for a second there.
Is that it?
Any questions on the building?
I'm good.
And maintenance?
Okay, we're good. We can move
Okay,
on.
so we are going to be moving on to major and local streets. I don't believe there's a personnel page, is there? There is no personnel page for major and local streets. And then the page number for the budget. Major street is going to be starting at 37.
37?
Yep.
Which department is this, you said?
Major streets,
This is, just the
major.
page 37 out of 57 on the budget.
Is this the last one for today or still have one more?
We have the biggest one.
Huh?
Water and sewer is after.
Slow down, guys, you both are saying it.
Major, local, and water.
Three more, okay. Probably the water is the biggest one.
And major and local roads are allocated by the state. So we get a certain percentage, certain amount per mile for
gas.
major and local
Yep.
roads. So there's not a whole lot we can really adjust in here
Okay.
for those two.
All right,
You want to go through?
You don't have to. We can't, I mean, it's through the state.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
What's-
so you want to move on to
I want
water?
to go to local.
Local's the same thing, so we should just go.
Yeah, I
right
want to
on
see
the
it.
Oh,
Don't you want to do expenditures for major and local?
I want to look at local. Can you show me the local? What page?
For major.
Yes. What page is it?
Page 40 out of 57.
How much money do we have in this local?
How much money do you have?
So the beginning fund balance before the fiscal year starts would be 2,053,671. That's for the fiscal year coming
I
up.
want to know for street repairs.
Sorry about that.
You have $100,000 in just street repairs?
$100,000. That's a bridge, not a street.
Where are you looking? What page?
All right, so if you go to page 40, you're going to start seeing all of the different aspects that have to do with our street repairs. It starts with professional contractual services at $140,000.
Yeah, so that's
Who's
for
that for?
weight trim?
Weight trim?
No, that is for whoever we contract at the time. I believe right now, the only one that we have under contract is Mark Anthony. We have to go for contracts again. So Mark Anthony has some pending ones.
Yeah, but this is for next year, so we already budgeted, and there's nothing for last
We
year.
don't have a bid for next year.
This is going for 25, 26. 24, 25 has already been completed. You can't use them, things that were being done for 24, 25 and pay them out in 25, 26. 23, 23, 24, we have a contract with them. They did no services. 25, 26, the contract that we hired did no work for us. They're coming to us in 25, 26 and saying, we're going to have to pay them 140,000?
We haven't gone out for bids.
No, this is just a budget, but she still have to go for a bid.
So the contractual services, if,
We approved Mark Anthony for Annapolis.
Correct. So last time we went out for bids for street construction, it was Mark Anthony, and it was in the 23-24 fiscal year. We amended the budget twice to include additional roads, one last year and one that was recently approved, I believe, in the last month or so. But we do still need to go out for bids again.
So what's the 140,000 for?
It's just an
So the-
estimate, but they're gonna have to go out for bid. So it might be less, it might be more, but it's just an estimate for now.
Okay. That's weight trim. So if we do have an engineering firm, doesn't have to be weight trim, could be any engineering
We
firm.
have an engineer, guys. We don't need to pay them. The whole point of the mayor's saying, and I don't want to be interrupted for a second, Mandy, please.
I'm not.
One of the things that we said was, you know, we brought the smartest man in the world and we've in-house and instead of outsourced, we brought in our own in-house engineer. Why are we paying other engineer firms?
So one engineer cannot do every single
Then get rid of
engineering.
the engineering and go and keep outsourcing.
But the point of having an in-house engineer is to act as a liaison and an expert in the field. So when an engineering firm does come and tell you to do things, he can review and assist the city in ensuring that they make the best
But what do
decision
we have weight
possible.
trim for?
Weight trim is a contractor. You have to have somebody in-house so that when it does come to engineering tasks, he can review engineering tasks. You can't just hire an engineering
It's
firm
like
and
we
just.
have Flam Moran and we have Mahdi. So basically,
We should have had Mayor and Mehdi. You should only have one of the two.
But I'm only one person. Once the department is fully staffed, we can cut back on that. But
same thing, if you
in
have
regards to
engineering more bigger
engineering,
than-
Council Chair, in regards to engineering, you need to have an in-house engineer that helps with also the in-house building and engineering department and stuff related to that. That's where the engineer comes into play.
Mr. Baydun, with all due respect,
Yes.
you're in charge of the comptroller's department. To tell me what the city needs to be able to pay and I'm not saying get rid of Mr. D, by the way. What I'm saying is, we do not need to pay weight trim. I just want you to know something. You drive down Wilson, you see the road, 5 years, 7 years. 7 years, weight trim. And it looks like crap. Fire station, falling apart after 2003. Weight trim. Everything you're looking at is weight. That's great. Keep Ali Deep. Maybe instead of paying weight trim, hire 2 engineers.
yeah.
Honestly, if you want to, you could have a $500,000 to $700,000 engineering department that have in different.
You know, Manny, do me a favor. Can you tell us exactly how much we paid weight trim so far this year? Well, not now, but whenever you have a minute.
Exact number right now.
Okay, go ahead.
But also, I just wanted to remind you that we did recently go out for engineering bids, and we now have 2 firms that could provide as-needed engineering services. It's not just weight trim. So another reason that we use weight trim and other engineering firms is because Again, we do not have a $500,000 engineering department. We don't even have the software that's necessary for us to develop the plans to do construction like this type of construction and roads. So you absolutely need a contractor with our current staffing and our current software in the department. We haven't even been able to hire a GIS coordinator. So we haven't even been able to hire a GIS coordinator. So again,
GIS
like,
coordinator, ma'am.
it's one of the positions that was requested in the engineering department.
for the map.
Yeah, for us to be able to look at the
Well,
maps
for
and the
not paying Wade Trim,
underground
you can-
facilities
you
and
can afford
different
a
things like
GIS
that.
coordinator. Get rid of Wade Trim.
Again, we don't have the
Well,
the
you know what? We did
facilities, we
budget
don't
for
have
that
the
one
software.
For this year,
We did, correct.
so we can use his salary for this year somewhere else. How much was
Also,
it?
Council Chair,
You already did?
Wade Trim themselves, they cost twice as much as an in-house
How much do
engineer.
can you give me the amount?
I'm gonna give you it right now. Give me 1 second. You want the fiscal year or calendar year?
I want the fiscal year. What do we pay?
To date, from 7/1/2024 till
Yes,
today?
yes.
Oh, sorry.
And not in just one department, I mean in every single
Yeah, I know.
department. Please don't miss one.
If you want, I can actually show this.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
We trust you, buddy.
Okay.
We trust you.
I hope you trust me.
Yes, we do.
I mean, while you're doing that, I can keep going. Again, so just estimates of what we're planning to spend next year based on the revenues for local streets. There's $2,500,000 for street construction. There is $1,200,000 for street repair and preservation. There's $100,000 for bridge repair and preservation. There's $150,000 for winter maintenance, snow and ice. There is $202,500 for administration. That's the reimbursement that we get for the salaries of our employees. And then there is
say that again.
$161,000 in traffic
For
services.
administration?
202,500. So again, every month when the employees do work in highway, it gets reimbursed through the local and major to the city.
Yeah, so the highway department itself is actually almost all funded by major and local streets, and that's where the major and local street portions will transfer into highway department to reimburse. Regarding Wade Trim, from July 1st, 2024 to today, we had $1,013,148.79.
We don't got $500,000. What are you talking about? We got $1.5 million just on Wade Trim.
Wade Trim costs twice as much as an in-house engineer per hour.
Guys, I just want you to know.
I mean, the problem with hiring an in-house
One
engineer
second.
is that you have to pay the pension, benefits, healthcare.
Mahdi, can you give me 1 second?
Yes,
If we hired just three. If we had Mr. Deeman, 2 other city engineers.
Actually,
good luck finding.
You want to know the truth? I swear to you, I've been in so much communication with different engineers, people that worked at some of the greatest companies.
Yeah.
And in my email, I have about 5 resumes of people that are industrial engineers. So it's not tell me good luck finding them. What I'm telling you is, and the only reason why I'm asking this question is because former Councilman Ray Muscat asked me to bring this up today.
I actually like the idea.
Please, just bear with me. So I told him coming into this meeting, he's probably watching this tonight, that I'm going to question how much money we pay Wade Trim.
I agree.
And if we're paying him $1.5 million, is that the number you came up with?
It's $1,013,148 right now.
Okay, so that's
Probably
for
going
now.
to be around 1.3 million by the end of the
We'll
year.
be at 1.3 by the time we're done. And I just want us to be, look, guys, at the end of the day, I'm not the administration, but I want you guys to think about this. $1.3 million. Let me finish, please, man.
I know.
We're going to spend, if we had 2 other city engineers on top of Mr. D, you're at 400, say, call it $500,000. Now I have $500,000 I can go give to buying a new DPW truck. I can put towards overtime. I mean, guys, we really, really, really need to think of these things.
I already asked, why don't we have a $750,000 to $1 million engineering department fully staffed, all the supplies and everything? If you want to move towards that, we could. If council wants to approve that kind of, I wouldn't call it a master plan, but like a game plan for how we can build that engineering department so we can cut back from Wade Trim, I'm all for it. I've already said that, why would we?
What is Wade Trim giving us for $1 million?
They do,
I know
do,
what they do, Councilman. What I'm saying is.
Here's the thing.
$1 million is a lot of money.
but they do stuff sometimes for the recreation department. They do advising. They did our we're gonna redo Van Born and.
Van Born's a blacktop and nothing
Having
was
said
done there.
that, absolutely, it's duplicative.
Council
We
Chair.
have a PE, certified professional engineer paying, top dollar and
Because I'll
then.
tell you right now, I think Ali Deeb's better than everybody at Wade Trim.
He is.
He is.
But he's one
Imagine you
person.
find two more of those.
So if you would like to move towards that kind of city structure and have an actual powerful engineering department, you're going to have to spend, in my opinion, 500,000 at a minimum.
How much have we budgeted for in this last year's budget for Wade Trim? Can you tell me?
We don't budget for wage trim specifically. We budget contractual services in the different line items for different funds. The majority of wage trims charges are actually water and sewer charges, so they don't come out of general fund. Only about 7 to 8% of all of wage trim charges are general fund. And part of that, 7 to 8%, is actually funding scout, which is for grants that we receive, so it pays for itself. So the majority of these charges, the $1,031,000, is related to water and sewer projects, which also are funded via grants.
No,
Now,
it wasn't. It was funded through a bond that we went out for. It's not grant, it's a bond. And taxpayers we bonded out for this.
But part of the,
It's half and half.
half and half.
Yeah.
So what I agree with you, Council Chair, is I would like, this city should move forward and try bringing as much engineering in-house. It's just not going to happen overnight. I've already said that, why don't we do that?
Yeah. I just feel like that's
I mean, do you want to move forward with that?
We're not gonna move forward, but I just want you to know that this sucks. This is milking the residents. For $1 million to pay contractual services for Wade Trip to give us their opinion while we have somebody we're paying here to give us their opinion.
It's not opinion, it's actual.
They're not doing the work. They're hiring a contractual person out there.
And that's just Wade Trim. We've used.
You know what?
SC,
Wade Trim does the engineering work. Part of the work
they give us
is
the-
the administration part of the construction.
You know what Wade Trim does? You know what Wade Trim and Van and Van and them do? You know what Wade Trim does? You want to redo Ford Road? Okay, let me look at the engineering of the work audit. This is the contractor we're going to bring in. This is the people that we feel like are the best. When we go out for bids, yep, okay, great, come out here and do the work. That's what they're doing. They're charging us $1 million. I swear to you, I could do it. Maybe not the engineering, but I could come out here and start. Man, what I'm saying is,
I agree with you. Get 2 or 3 engineers and 2 or 3 engineering assistants and workers with them.
Yeah.
So why
agree too.
don't we move towards with that direction?
let's have this discussion later. We'll have that discussion
Okay, I
amongst the
agree
council.
with you in the department structure. I do. I'm not saying that I disagree with you.
Thank you,
I don't know.
Mandy.
You're doing great, Marty. 592 department. You're doing great, man. This is because we all care about the city, man. 592, isn't that what we're going on to? Or are we still on the local streets?
Haven't done major, I don't know if they want to go with the expenditure.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah, what page is that?
The one before it.
38, 2 pages.
By the way, Mandy, I don't mean that to you. My frustration isn't coming out at you.
No, I know your frustration. I've seen from the inside of the administration part. I know you see it. I'm agreeing with you
I'm
that
just
we
like-
should bring more things in-house.
All I'm saying is we've heard so many times, we have a city engineer and he saves us so much money. He saves us $30,000 on this toilet. He saved us $10,000 on this. We just spent $1 million to Wade Trim.
I agree, Council Chair.
Excuse me?
We've always spent $1 million to do it.
The
Okay,
city-
so then we're always spending $1 million and then we also hired a city engineer so that if we're always spending that, then why do you have a city engineer?
There's a Armenian
So,
doctor.
all right, let me just break down a little bit of how the department is currently functioning. The current city engineer did take over all of the planning and zoning reviews that are necessary, which we were paying Wade Trim for triple the amount of money. So we did save money in that department. As Maddie explained, the city engineer also oversees the proposals that the contractors are doing and verifies that they're being done correctly. We also have site inspections that the engineer and the part-time civil engineer are overseeing as well, which used to be done by Wade Trim and are currently being done in-house. So that is currently the function of the things that are working on. You need somebody to make sure that the projects that they're proposing are accurate, that they're not using illegal materials like they did in the fire station
Who
in the
does that?
past.
Who
The
does
city engineer does.
What does Wade Trim do then?
they make the proposal of what they're going to use. They look at the underground studies, they look at the engineering stuff, and they make the proposals. Our engineer reviews it, makes sure it's accurate, and comes up with a yes or no, or tells them to amend it if necessary.
So you're saying it's okay to have them both?
I do. At the moment, I believe you do need both at the moment. If you do want to truly develop an entirely engineering service department, in my opinion, you need a minimum of 5 people, and you need a lot of software and capabilities that are going to be necessary to purchase, which aren't cheap. But that's just my
You
opinion.
know what else isn't cheap? Paying $1 million for engineering work when we have a city engineer.
Council Chair, we agree with you. We're just saying wage trim acts
Guys,
as,
the conversation's over. Conversation's over. We don't, that's, stop.
Major streets.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just go? All right, major streets. It's just, sorry.
We're at water, I thought. 38, page 38.
I thought we were doing major.
Yes, major, I'm sorry.
Sorry, 38 is major, yes. So 154 street highway, what's? Construction, sorry. That's highway construction. Then we have street construction at 5,775,832,000. There is street repair and preservation at 1,600,000. There is bridge repair preservation at 350,000. There is a transfer to local at 2,700,000. So in our city, there's currently a larger need in local roads than in major for replacements. So we are allowed to transfer a certain amount of money from major to local. So this past 2 years, we've done that in order for us to increase the amount of work that we can do in the local roads.
Okay.
So that is going to get transferred next year, $2,700,000. Then we have $190,000 for winter maintenance, snow and ice, and then $525,000 for administration, which again is the reimbursement from water for our salaries in the water department staffing. And we have traffic services at $78,000 for
What's
the
that for,
major
traffic service?
streets.
That's non-motorized expenses.
Yeah, non-motorized expenses.
Like what?
So that's like, that's traffic signals, painting on major and local streets like the crosswalks, stop signs.
How much do we have in there?
78,000. It's a requirement by the state to do 1% each year for 10 years, and it has to be reported.
Can we increase that number?
You can, and I would recommend that because that's where we're going to grab the match for the grants that I was referring to earlier in highway.
Where do you get that money from?
Where do you
If we
get?
increase it, where are we getting the money from?
The match.
No. Right now, it says 78,000. You're telling me to increase it. Is it coming from the general fund?
No, this comes from major and local roads.
I know.
The revenue is right in front of you in page 37.
How much do we have in revenue?
So we have 500, 701, 222.
What, 500?
Sorry, 5,701,000.
How much are we remaining is what we have?
That's the revenues.
And how much are we using?
11,368,000.
How much?
11,368,000.
So where are you getting the money from?
Local. So we're moving from.
No, it's from our balance that we were carrying from major streets, because previously we never used that money. We were building up that money that the state gave us. That doesn't mean that we're spending it within that fiscal year, so.
Are we using any of that from the general fund or anything, or the fund
No,
balance?
these are all major and local street funds.
So how do we increase right now that 78,000? Where can we get that money from?
So there's a fund balance in major streets that hasn't been used completely every single year. We've under budgeted on expenses for each one. So this year, we're asking to allocate an additional amount in order to do more roads in that particular project.
I know. Can you tell me how much is in that? If right now, the ones that were in the
Ending
reserve.
fund balance is $3,695,000 on your page 38 at the bottom, which means that if you want to take money out of that ending fund balance, you can put it an extra 25, 50, however much you feel is necessary.
So that one's at 78. Let's take that up to at least 250,000.
250?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
if
traffic
we're gonna-
services. We need to have, let's do 250,000 on that.
Okay.
So ultimately, let's keep that at 378,000. How does that sound?
Which one?
Wait, what?
So what, 380?
So the traffic services that you're using, that you're gonna be taking 90,000 from it. You're taking 45 plus 20, you said, right? Or you said 45 plus 9,000. That you're using to match.
It's like 29,000 and 40-something thousand.
Yeah.
It's around 70,000 total.
Okay, but then you're leaving us with traffic services for $0.
We understand that.
Again, not necessarily. Sorry. Not necessarily, because we could also grab it from contractual services, so we can lower another one of the accounts, but we can put whatever
But if
number
there's
you
a fund
want.
balance of 3 million, I'd at least like to up this here at least to another 300,000.
300,000?
Yeah, so
Three.
up it an additional 300, because you're gonna exhaust it when you take it out from,
So 378,
correct.
okay.
I say that because now we can purchase things like Dearborn has those blinking, flashing stop sign lights. You can purchase maybe potentially speed bumps. We would put around parks if we wanna.
So are you interested in doing that in the major roads or in the local ones? Because right now you're budgeting for major, but I do know that there's a higher need in local as well.
Correct, but in certain areas, you're gonna need, so if we can bump that in major and in local, let's do it, because in some major roads, you're still gonna need certain devices that, track your speed and whatnot.
Would you say 150 in each one or 300 in each one?
300 in each one. There is no price on public safety.
No, I understand. I just want to make sure that.
And if it's not hitting our fund balance and it's from our general fund, and this is coming from,
So local streets already has 161,000.
let's make it a $300,000 expense.
So
No, 300,000, do 350 even.
350 even for each, or,
No, that one, leave that one, you're taking out,
okay, 350 for local.
and this is not coming out of the fund balance of
General fund?
general
No.
fund. This is coming from the fund balance of major and street, which we receive from different tax brackets, from the gas and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions regarding major street expenditures?
Nope.
Okay, that means we are going to move on to the biggest department, water and sewer. That is going to be page 49 on the budget, and what page on the personnel sheet?
49, you said?
Yep.
You have my personnel sheet. Director Dancy stole my sheet.
Don't worry about it. You don't give me the stuff.
Give me one moment.
Sure.
Is Shannon still here or she already left? She's still here? She left.
Okay. That would be page 20 on the personnel sheet and page 49 on the budget.
I'm sorry, personnel, what page you said?
20.
20?
This is the last page on it.
Okay.
So I don't think, just like the other departments we were talking about, our main goal right now is we got to focus on is just getting us up to that 27. Because right now we are, I don't think we need to change the overall quantity yet until we're full. Our issue though is everybody seems to run from water. So right now we actually only have like on a daily basis people working in water, 5, sometimes 6, but with all the time off that individuals get at this city, it's harder to keep a crew consistently out there. So I guess just budget related, I don't think we need to actually change anything in here. We got to get full, which we're trying to, but a lot of people seem to run from water and sewer. I don't know why. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why nobody wants to fix them. So we can leave that as is when it comes to personnel until we get ourselves completely full. And then in coming years, we'll evaluate. Like I said, I mean, the number of people we have in the field needs to be increased, but let's get that full before we even. Let me see what you got. Revenues. I think most of these are unable to be affected. 450. I'm reading the numbers instead of the description. So this 450, 528, 630, 633. Man, all these you can't.
The main one is the water services.
Yeah, but even those, I mean, the water sales are what we're paying GLWA and the sewer disposal charges, what we,
That's what we sell to residents.
oh yeah, we're in revenues here, so. Leave it the same. How you gonna project that?
How come the ARPA money shows here, Mariana?
Sorry, I was actually just going to talk about that. So as you recall, the last project that we have for our ARPA funds for the $13 million is the water main replacement budget. So that money will hit as a
You mean
reimbursement.
the water meter replacement?
No. So the ARPA portion is going to handle the water main replacements.
Okay.
The water meter is being covered by the grant and the bond. So that's one of the things that I wanted to mention as well. So again, I don't know why Shannon didn't include the grants for the department, but I do want to mention that when you get to the transportation and distribution section, you're going to see the expenditures for each one of the water projects. The total is $30,824,360,000 that we're expecting to spend on those projects. And I would like to request that get added. It's on the requested, but it's not in the recommended for some reason. But that would also be offset in the revenues as well for the reimbursements, because we are going to get reimbursed through the bonds or through the grant.
Yeah, but we don't have the bond or the grant yet.
So we have both, actually, and we've actually already done a few drawdowns. We've received about $2 million in reimbursements already for the water meter purchases. So when we purchased the water meters, reimbursement was submitted for that and already awarded. So as we incur expenses, we provide reimbursement requests, and they give us the money back.
From the council, like, hey, we received this money, does the treasurer know, like?
The treasurer knows, yes, absolutely. She's the one who allocates it.
So the treasurer is the one who actually receives it in. They come in through the state and Sigma, so they are automatically transferred into our bank account. The treasurer gets notice, and then she confirms with comptroller that the money has been received.
All right, thank you.
So that's just a note. So I would like to request that we include those expenditures moving forward. They will match exactly what's in your expenditures and the revenues.
But I don't want to add them if we didn't officially 100% receive all the money. It's like, you can't say we already received 2 million, but I just want to add the 9 million in there.
So again, we receive it as we spend it. So every quarter, we provide reimbursement requests for what we've spent.
Good news is, it's a fluid document. And let's not put ourselves in that position. When you get it, we can amend it and we can adjust this budget.
Okay, we don't need to budget the revenues, but I do need to budget the expenditures because we have contractual agreements already and I need to keep
But
paying them.
We can't budget it if we don't have it.
You're never going to have the money up front.
I understand it, and we're never going to have we don't have the money to budget it.
So you do have the money to budget it. You have a contractual agreement. We're already in process. We've already received reimbursements from it. So you do have the money for it. That's why I'm requesting
No,
for
we
it to be.
have a quarter of the amount of money for it. We don't have the $9 million for it.
You do. So you already sold the bonds. You already got the grant award. So both of them, you can draw down as you incur expenses. We're not going to draw down on the bond first. We're going to draw down on the grant first. So for this year, we're going to try to exhaust all of the money, which is probably going to be the entire amount here and a little bit from the bond.
So, when you add to expenditures, you're not going to increase the revenue.
I am trying to increase revenue. You're the one who said you don't want to and you want to do it as it
We're already at
happens.
$62 million in revenue. You're assuming that we're going to bring in all this extra money in revenue when the reality is we haven't even brought it in this year.
So this is water and you do have these revenues. So you have a contractual agreement for it, just like with the MIDC. Just because the money isn't in the bank right now, it doesn't mean it's not coming.
I think Council Chair is different from last year. Last year, they included all the grants they applied for, not approved. But
Correct.
this one is already approved and already
No,
halfway.
we only got a quarter of it.
Yeah, but it's already, we have a contract.
We don't have a quarter of it. In order for us to get the grant, you had to sell bonds. We wouldn't have gotten any of it if we hadn't already sold the bonds. So you 100% have 100% of the amount of money at your disposal to be used right now. And it must be used before the 26th, the
Fun
end
fact,
of.
I actually voted no on this because it also increases water. So I voted no on this.
I'm aware, but the council as a whole voted yes. So we currently
Not
have
as a whole.
it passed. So
Yes,
as,
it wasn't a whole.
as a
I voted
body,
no.
you voted yes. And we have a contractual services agreement. We have a bond that's been sold to pay for it. The revenues are already coming in. The projects are already ongoing. So I would recommend for financial responsibility for you to include both the revenue and the expenses. This was an oversight from
We
the
can do that at
controller
the end. We don't
department.
got to do it right this second. But right before we approve the budget, we can do that.
Correct. So just like the other amendments that you're
That's fine. You can
requesting
add
for the
some.
public hearing, this is going to be included.
Okay.
So this is just for the water meters, or
So it's all of them. So.
how many do we have? If you can refresh my
There's three
memory.
of them.
Sorry. So we have 4 projects. We have the CSO project, and we're going to get to it in a minute, but for revenue purposes, I'm just going to tell you. $6,800,000 for the CSO L41 project. For the DWSRF water meter replacement portion, we're using $2,500,000 next year. For the water main replacement project, we're using $9,321,672. And for the lead pipe replacement, we're using $12,202,688. It's in your.
I got it.
So do you want me to continue with the revenues on page
Yeah,
49?
let's just continue.
So we are expecting $11.6 million in water sales and $13.7 million in water and sewer disposal charges. That's what consists of in the water bill, separated. Then we have sale of meters, $550,000.
Are these all the water meters that were already used by residents?
Sorry about that. The
You said sale of
500,000?
meters, what meters? The one,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know if we even,
It is the sale of meters when a new building comes up and they request for a new meter, if you need it.
yeah, but this is something, what if we don't, what if we don't sell that much next year? Because
You're not going to.
Yeah, because I know, like, I missed an appointment. You know,
You can lower the revenue if you want
but
to.
how did you come up with that number? Who came up with that number?
What's the number they came up with?
550. 550,000.
I mean, this year active activity is only 310,000.
The only note I have from Wade Trim is the average, but it does say that it may decrease slightly due to the replacement with the new meter program. But again, if you look at the activity in 23-24, we had received 529,558. The current activity as of April is 310,458. It's projected to be 620,267 this year. So this current upcoming year, it was budgeted for 550,000. But if you want to lower that, you can.
You guys want to lower it or keep it at 550?
We can go to 500.
you wanna go 500? Okay. So we have non-resident user surcharges at 180,000. We have Wayne County industrial surcharges at $14,500. $500. We have water bill penalties at $600,000. Water penalty tax rollover at $415,000. The NSF fees at $5,000. Interest on investments is $500,000. And then the reimbursement from MMRMA is $100,000.
And I don't know if you want to look at the water bill penalty.
So the water bill penalties are if people pay late, so it adds the extra charge and it's tracked separately on the water bills and our utility billing system.
we're projecting activity 537.
600,000 is not it, bro. Especially right now, we're supposed to be getting better water meters. I mean, we've given so many breaks and
I mean,
water's a necessity. I don't even see us like, why are we charging $600,000 just in penalties?
we're not looking to charge residents. It's just the fact that the residents wait over the 21-day plus the 7-day
Let's put that
grace.
at 500. You're
Okay.
at 305,000 for the year and it ends in 2 months. You don't even got a billing cycle coming. You guys already under budgeted that one. Really, we can take that to 400.
You want a 400?
You should. Because, you're over promising and under delivering.
I mean, 2023, 2024 was at 438. and then-
400 is fine.
Yeah, but
Okay.
keep in mind, this fiscal year, couple times we waived penalties,
Yeah,
late fees, I mean.
that is when probably why it's a
And
little
we're
low.
expected to we have new meters, that have better accurate readings. So more people are going to be on time and paying their bills.
Mariana, it's all your fault.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Council Chair. Although the new meters will help with
We can go to 450.
450?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
There is a slight correlation, but it isn't a
600 was, you guys were just trying to find ways to show out that we're making money.
I will say this is the water fund, so there's no purpose of us trying to
Good.
look to make money
Let's
in
do
there.
Enterprise fund.
Yeah, I get it, guys. Let's go 450.
Okay. Is there any other questions on the revenues?
Nope.
Hey, give me 1 second, let me make these notes. We're going to go to page 50, which is Water Department Admin. Go ahead and do the expenses.
All right, so we have the bond sale admin fees at $1,367,012.
No, that's, it looked like it, but it's not zero.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's zero. I missed that. There's nothing in that one right now. Sorry. That was moved to another area, I believe. Okay, sorry. Salaries is the $1,367,012. Then we have our retirement from prior years at $50,000. We have part-time at $3,970. Clothing at $418,000. Sorry, overtime at $418,000.
50.
Clothing is at zero, but I do believe that you have a new contract for clothing, so do we want to increase that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we should definitely increase that, because right now,
Yeah, it should be around 12.
we should correlate it right to the personnel numbers.
Why don't we wait until you guys, we can always do a budget amendment. We don't know the number. We might come back and say we want 10,000, but we only need 2,000. Might need 2,000, might be 20,000. We don't know.
Yeah,
How about
we'll
you
give you the number because we have a contract, so we actually know how much it costs.
Can you get it to us before the end?
Yes, right. Before we finalize these numbers, I'll make sure that it's included.
Yep. All right. Then we have hospital insurance at $476,493, life insurance at $7,750, general government pension at $323,332, OPEB pre-fund at $120,000, fringe benefits at $136,857. And then we go into supplies, which you currently have $82,500. Utilities are $62,475. Dues and memberships is $30,000.
Oof.
That's our Alliance of Rouge Communities and
Okay.
That lines downriver watershed.
an Alliance of Downriver Watersheds.
They made me the treasurer. Unlike you, Matt, I'm the treasurer now.
Then we have professional contractual services, which is $200,000.
What's that for?
That's a little bit of weight trim.
A lot of better weight trim.
And Hennessy, and
There's also Bowles Brother, which is like the pickups for whenever there's debris and stuff related to water and sewer activities, the truckloads that go in and out. And then, is there any other contractual services that you know of?
Those, a lot of hauling materials, and occasionally non-emergency main break work. Sometimes we'll run into a situation where you can tell it's going to be an emergency, so I've tried to use that GL number for non-emergency excavating concerns, because I think there's another line item for like emergency water main break repairs. But we've run into a few issues where we're either at a depth that our guys can't really get to, or it's just in a weird situation, so. Which one we at, Mario?
Contractual services.
So contractual services is at 120,000, so pretty much those two combined revolve around weight trim, the truckload debris and things like that. So any type of contractual services between those two line items. Then the $915,000 is actually the reimbursement to general fund for services that the general fund does on behalf of water and sewer activities.
Like?
So whether it's like the comptroller's department, the mayor's department, clerk's office, treasurer's office, one. So right now we have Maximus to do an exact cost allocation. But at this point in time, we're doing cost allocation based on historical numbers.
Okay, but activity till now is 196,000.
It's something that's done at the end of the year.
End of the year?
Yeah.
Why do we keep doing these end of the year things? I mean, it's just, this is like the 30th thing we found.
Well, these are different than interfund. Interfund transfers relating to exact expenses that we know are not supposed to be done at the end of the year. But this is something that is done at the end of the year. I can speak with Plan Moran on getting something in place that we can do this on a monthly or quarterly basis so that each fund can reimburse each other in a more timely manner. If you'd like me to propose that.
That's okay. We're speaking out loud. Thank you.
So you don't want?
You're okay. You're doing a great job.
So we got motor fuel at $125,000. That's put in, the DPW has motor fuel on site to fill up their trucks.
Yep.
What's the insurance for?
I believe that's MMRMA.
Yeah.
445,000.
What does it, like, for the whole city or just for the water department?
So that's for the water department. So MMRMA is divided based on percentage of total activities between general government, highway, library, water, and sewer.
So what do they cover here?
Equipment.
Equipment for the water department?
Correct. So MMRMA covers all of the equipment and buildings for the city of Dearborn Heights.
And we have to give them 445,000. That goes into that one fund, right?
Correct.
Okay. What if we don't use it for equipment and we end up getting sued and we give it to other things?
I'm sorry.
Are we just estimating it for equipment? What if we don't use it for equipment?
So we're not estimated based on equipment. We're estimating it based on
Departments?
Liability exposure.
liability exposure. So exactly, when we provide the questionnaire every year that
I know,
comes
but
back
what
here
if
for
we,
renewal.
my ask is, because I'm seeing insurance for MMRMA, 100,000, 445,000, which, fine, I get it. We have to, I know how it works. You have to fill up your, what's the name?
You
of
have to
it?
do the cost allocations to each department. Yeah.
Okay, but is it all one lump sum, or does MMRMA know that we are breaking this down in different budgets? Because what I'm trying to ask is, when the city gets sued, let's just say the city gets sued because the guy's driving his bike and falls on our concrete and sues the city, right? Is that gonna come out of a certain department, or is that just gonna come out of the whole sum of MMRMA's breakdown?
The whole sum of the MMRMA breakdown.
So why don't we have just a line item for MMRMA and take them out of different departments? Doesn't make a sense. Doesn't make sense that we're using it
Because
in
it's
different
different
departments.
funds.
I know, but
So
this,
they come from different revenue sources. So that's why it's broken down. Typically, the ones that are broken apart
But we're
are
using water-
highway, water, library.
but we're potentially using water, hang on, Mandy. I want Mariana to answer this.
It's okay.
We're using water funds for potential other different types of lawsuits, settlements and lawsuits through the water fund. So now, like, we're charging people's tax bill and their water on settlements and lawsuits because we don't know if it's really coming out of water. But yet, the highest amount that we're giving from MMRMA to fill that backfill today is coming from a water fund. I don't think that's fair. I get it, water is a liability. How many times have we been sued for water in the last year? Okay. Okay, a lot. I can promise you, but we got sued for negligence a lot more, but yeah, we're gonna use water funds for being sued for negligence.
I've actually asked this question to Plant Moran and asked them about the allocation.
No, I'll tell you, I'll answer it for you, Mahdi. You don't gotta ask Plant Moran. I can tell you why. We didn't have the money to get it from anywhere else, so we're using the water funds, and we're saying it's for liability for water. So we're charging people's water bills, and we're hearing from it all the time, and we're like, oh no, we don't know why we're doing this. We don't know why everybody's water bill is so high. This is a prime example. Then we're trying to say
I
that the
wouldn't
cost.
say that
Then we're gonna
this,
say, well, that's gonna be covered through potentially the $600,000 we're gonna charge people in late fees. Come on, guys.
Well, when the
Council Chair.
workmen go down into the sewers.
MMRMA should be its own line item, and that money should not be coming out of water.
the point of the expense.
But there was no other way of paying for MMRMA because we have to fill it up because we deplete it every year.
They go out and get reinsurance.
So,
They go out and buy.
In all honesty, just to offer a little bit of historical data, what we get from the interest of what we have invested in MMRMA actually kind of pays off itself. It pays the renewal every year. For the past 3 years, we've actually taken the $1 million and put it into our revenues. So we've actually gotten that money back. That is why the money's depleted now, is because we actually didn't put any money into MMRMA for the past
No, we
3
didn't.
or 4
We added it
years.
last year. We added it last year. Yes, we did. I'll pull it up for you. Yes, we did. We added $750,000 last year.
That's just our insurance payment. That's not what's in the fund balance to pay out claims.
Well, we should have taken out the $1 million if you're taking out $445,000 from water. I'm going to give you guys a quick example. I just have this written down. MMRMA, water, $445,000. Every other department, $250,000. The difference is this is hitting the water. This is hitting the general fund. That's what's happening. I'm giving you an example of a breakdown. We're charging people's water bills.
We pay way more than $600,000 to MMRMA, but
I'm giving you an example, Mariana.
it's okay. But
The
again, if
majority
you
of-
want to change
the
that, you
majority-
can.
What I'm saying is, no, none of the money should be coming out of water.
There's still a liability in water,
Okay,
whether you
about
want to admit it or
$100,000.
not. The equipment in water is one of the most expensive equipment we own in the city. But that's okay. If you want to make the change, you
No,
can.
this was your guys' doing. But I don't want to hear come back and say the past administration bonded out and that's why our water bills are so high. The truth is we're charging the water fund. That's why our water bills are so high.
Again, this is historical data. It's always been charged that way. We didn't change anything. But that's how it's been allocated. That's how it's separated based on the amount of equipment that's in each department. We can change that, though. It is your budget. If you would prefer for that to come from
This
the
is not our
general fund,
budget.
you
This is the
can.
mayor's budget. We are
It's everybody's budget.
We are correct. No, this is the mayor's budget. It says right here, this is the mayor's budget.
That's last year's.
So how much would you like to drop it?
I don't know. Why don't you speak with Plant Moran and figure that part out?
I asked them the last time I did this cost allocation between the
I'm proud
departments.
of you, Maddie, because that was a great question.
I literally asked them, why are we doing it this way? Michelle from Plant Moran confirmed with me saying, for now, it's accurate. We can, and then I'll meet with her again this upcoming week to
I
ask
don't
her.
have the answer for it. Obviously, you guys are trying to figure it out and you're using different funds to figure it out. Historically, you're saying it's been done like this. Historically, it's been done like this since Bill Bazzi has been the mayor.
So, give me 1 second. Let me see, 1 second.
Maddie, let's move on from that.
We paid $1.6 million in the past fiscal year. Yeah, so
I mean, we're the most sued city in America right now. It's a free-for-all. Everybody's suing Dearborn Heights. Yeah, no wonder why we.
You're talking about different things. Yeah. Like our insurance coverage is what the 1.6 million.
I get it. I get
So
it.
when they,
So water and sewer is only 27% of the insurance. Which, by the way, the water and sewer is a bigger fund than the general fund, but we're only doing 27% for water and sewer.
Regardless if it's bigger or not, man, that has nothing to do with that.
We're doing
I
57.
understand that, but you should not be using water funds for that, is what I'm saying.
Sorry. So what happens when a water truck tilts over like it did a few years ago? Is the general fund going to cover that?
No. Okay, it happened. It's probably not going to happen again.
It happens, though. That's why they
Did it
pay
happen
27% of what the
last
total
year?
cost. Yes, it
It
did.
happened last year?
Yes,
Where? How come I never heard of this?
or they were.
because our insurance company covers
Flushing
it.
out the sewers in the subdivision where I live. and a
All I'm saying is it's-
resident's toilet exploded,
Do you know about a water
and
truck? flip?
and he was all teed off, and he
Anybody?
sued.
George?
That went to pay for that.
I'm not, I don't even see the claims. They don't.
Did you hear about a water, I'm just curious, a water truck
No.
flipped last year?
But again, none of this comes into the comptroller's department. This is all covered by insurance, like on our insurance.
I understand that. A water truck flipped last year?
I am not aware of
Director,
it.
do you know about that?
He wasn't
Not to my knowledge.
Does DPW know about it?
Now you know.
I don't know.
So you're gonna check with Plant Moran about that allocation?
I'll double check, but the percent of premium breakdown currently is 56.15% general fund, 14.62% highway, 1.5% library, and 27% water and sewer.
Okay, Mandy, thank you. All I'm saying is, I don't want us to be charging the water department on something which is going to increase more water bills. It is the number one issue in the city right now. We are
Yes.
not helping it when we sit there and start saying we're charging people 600, let me speak for a second, please. It's not fair to say we're gonna charge people $600,000 a year to our residents and penalties when it's a necessity. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna say, but we're also gonna charge $450,000 to put towards our MMR insurance, but we're saying it's only 27%, and this is a bigger fund. It's a bigger fund because it's water. We know it's a bigger fund. You don't gotta tell me that. The reason why we have a bigger fund in the general fund is because we're using it on everything else.
No, what I was trying to say is hypothetically speaking, because it's a bigger fund, the percentage would be bigger. But in our city, the percentage is much smaller.
Thank you, Mandy, I understand. I
Now,
understand what
let
you're
me
trying to
just say something about the penalties. The whole point of the penalties is to make sure people pay on time. If somebody comes in and has some sort of issue, financial issue, I work with them. I tell them, hey, I'll help you out. However, the penalty is there so that the water bills get paid on time so that we could afford water department activities. Otherwise, if we shouldn't charge penalties, people would just let it roll over to taxes and the city would never collect their water bills.
Hey, I thank you.
Now,
I get that. Can we
Yes.
move on, please?
okay.
Thank you.
Underground storage tank liability is going to be 6,200. There isn't anything put in for flooding settlements, nothing from the
What's
FEMA
that FEMA
grant.
grant that's requested and,
So that's the homes that have been approved for demolition through FEMA. Again, sorry, this is another grant that was missed. This is 90-10. So they're giving us 90% of the grant and we only need to match 10% of it.
Okay.
And I would like to request for that to be included as well. That
But we
is
didn't
to,
get the money yet.
we will never get the money until you incur the expense.
So we're moving until we're able to incur the expense.
So that's not how grants work, Mr. Baidoon. I'm really sorry. When you have a grant agreement, you are committing to do this project. And when you're incurring expenses, which is currently happening, so I know for the grant that we received last year, the appraisals are already ongoing. So the expenses are already incurring. You do drawdowns on a quarterly basis. For FEMA, when you have, I believe, $50,000, that's when you can start doing drawdowns. But this is already approved, and it's been approved by council. It should be budgeted. The work is ongoing. The residents are expecting for this house to be purchased and demolished.
where is the 10% coming from?
Water. It's for water mitigation, FEMA flood mitigation grant.
So you want to add 760, you mean?
Correct. 90% of that will be reimbursed through the FEMA grant, which should also be offset in the revenues, which is not there. Oh, no, it is. Sorry, it is there, but it's not budgeted. There's a line item for it. So yeah, I would recommend that same as with the other grants, that both of these FEMA ones get included.
Raise, this just hurts the water.
Council Chair, if the council body didn't want to vote for it, you didn't have to when we brought it in for approval.
I voted no.
I don't recall. I believe everybody
Pull it up.
voted yes
Pull
for
it
the
up.
FEMA grants when Mr. Jamal presented them,
No, I
so
voted no when I asked, is it gonna affect the water? And they said yes.
I can pull it
Council
up.
Voted no.
Doesn't matter.
But again, ultimately, it's a body decision. If the body as a whole wants to remove this from the budget and for us to stop the process of the grants, we can do that.
Just put a star next to it, Mehdi, this one. Let's move on.
Or get the money from somewhere else.
All right, the next item is repair and maintenance, which is $20,000. That's for the equipment in the department. Sorry, that's for items in the department. And then there's repair, maintenance, equipment for $15,000, which I believe is the smaller items. It should be combined, yeah.
We should combine them to one line.
35,
That's fine.
yep, on the top one. 931.
What's the depreciation expense?
That is a non-cash expense.
Well, can-
So,
If you have a truck that's $1 million, you already bought it, you're depreciating it to reduce the asset.
we do the same with our actual main that we own in the water, in the ground too, right? We own 500 miles of main. You can depreciate the asset, because as it ages, it's worth less.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
We have 2 more pages.
We have 2 more pages?
Yeah.
When we do this again, this is what these are for. Doesn't matter.
What page?
The next one, 51.
51.
Want to try to,
Actually, hold on.
There's a lot more pages.
There's a lot more pages, but they're a lot smaller. Let me.
wait till the next.
So this is the water transportation and distribution. Salaries, there aren't any salaries because all salaries are in the 536 fund. So there's not any salaries broken down in these ones. And the department. Water and sewer supplies, 175,000. Contractual services, 606,500. Ecorse Creek, 475,000. Operating and maintenance, 475,000. CSO retention basin, that is $575,000. Water purchased, which is the one purchased from GLUA, is $5,020,661. Sewer disposal charges are estimated to be $7.8 million. Sewer disposal charges are 70% Rouge Valley sewer disposal system and 30% Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority. Then we have $60,000 in repairs and maintenance. And then
So the repairs and maintenance requested 160, give them 60.
is there a reason why you requested 160 for repairs and maintenance? But I'm assuming because the trucks and the equipment that he needs. But unfortunately, the 160. For water.
Yeah, I would assume if it's for vehicles, it's due to the age of the vehicles. If it was specifically designed for things that are in the ground, it's just to increase that added expense of gate valves, hydrants that a lot of times, obviously, as they age, we're running into more and more issues with them.
Water stuff.
So the next line item, water main replacement. Mariana, is this
Where?
is a water main, right?
Yes.
What number is that?
No, but then the problem is it's down here. So what is this one? I think it's a duplicate.
Sorry, what are you looking at? What are you looking at?
Page 51, water main replacement. I think it's a duplicate. Yeah, that's a duplicate.
So how come the water sewer emergency repairs, nothing was requested, but we gave 200,000?
For which for which area, sorry?
That's 973,
Emergency water sewer repairs?
yeah.
Because it was missed by the director, but it's historically been necessary because there's always emergency sewer repairs.
Are we expecting to spend all the 200,000 by end of this fiscal year? Was only
It's budgeted in case of emergencies. If it doesn't happen, we don't use it. Just like this current year, we budgeted for 200,000, but we've only used 56,773. I believe there's a few pending invoices, but we probably won't reach the 200. And yes, with regards to the water main replacement item, which is 973001, it was budgeted this year for the $13 million for that project. It does seem like there's a duplicate line item at the bottom, which is called the DWSRF water main replacement project. So one of them will have to be removed. We'll make that correction.
Which one is that again?
The water main replacement is 592-537-973-001. And then all the way down at the bottom, second to the last, 592-537-981-201.
Yeah.
The DWSRF water main replacement project.
But this is like different numbers here, though.
Correct. So the current year, we budgeted for the full grant amount, which is the $13 million, plus the engineering services. Next year, we're only estimated to spend $9 million. But it will be moved to the $13 million item so that you can see the historical trend. We'll remove the other one that was created at the bottom.
So there's two lines, we need to combine them into one.
Okay.
I will say this. This is one of those items that weren't included in the recommended budget, but again, they have a bond and an agreement that will offset the expenditures.
But you're gonna go ahead and combine them, correct?
Yes, so we're gonna put that before the final budget, we'll include those numbers.
Okay.
So we have ARPA grant expenditures, that actually covers the water main, right? The ARPA grant expenditures,
Yeah.
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 Okay, and then state grant expenditures and federal grant expenditures, that's also covers the water projects that we're taking on.
You're looking at, what page are you looking at?
That's 51. It's right under emergency water sewer repairs. Those three items are actually the expenditures for the DWSRF, so we have to remove those items and put them into the last three items. And then those will become revenues. Capital outlay equipment, we did $450,000. Director Dancy, do you know what that $450,000 is going to cover?
Shannon cautioned me to use it this fiscal year because she thought it might have been in there for maybe a prior purchase. But I'm going to get, I don't know if we'll actually end up using it this year, but obviously trying to get bids on whether it be a VACT or another excavator, preferably a Vactor or a concrete breaker.
It's for $450,000.
But she wasn't sure if that was for, I mean, it's not going to take me long to get prices and put it on an agenda to,
Let's get it on, please.
yeah.
You mean for this fiscal year, the next beginning or so?
Yeah, we'll probably have to pay before we get the vehicle. They don't keep these vehicles on stock, but.
So we are budgeting $47,000 for the CSO L42 project. That project is nearing completion, and most expenses have been exhausted. CSO L41 project is next at 981012. That one actually needs to be increased a lot more, which the remaining bond, the 2021 bond, correct? 2019 or 2021 bond?
21 bond.
Yeah, 2021 bond, that covers the L41 expenses. I'm not a part of it, and then a part of it will be, yes. The 51,000 isn't going to cover that amount. I will confer with Engineer Ali Dib to figure out what the remaining expenses are on that project and get back to you. Yeah. The water meter replacement, we are, I would say, about a quarter of the way there in terms of expenditures. And the total project, is it 12 million or 9 million for the water meter? She'll get you the total expenditures for the water meter project. Water main project, we are just starting that. I just paid the first bill for the water main project. And then the lead pipe replacement, that is going to happen after the water meters are replaced, because part of the water meter project is when the contractor goes into the house and replaces the water meter, they determine whether the line is possible lead. So then they track those on the houses, and then once we get that total amount, then we can actually get a contractual value. Right now, we can only estimate.
Okay.
And then that is it for water trends and distribution. Is there any questions?
No,
Okay, we'll make sure to get you those numbers regarding the projects.
thank you.
So next one, page 52, it's pretty easy. What do you say?
12,
Yeah.
sorry, 13,700,000.
Yes, so it's 13,
Just send it to us in an email, please.
okay, no problem. So this department, this is a subset of the water department. They only have some water and sewer supplies for specifically water tapping and install at $125,000, and then a small amount for repairs and maintenance equipment for some of their equipment they use. Any questions for this one? Number 53, water meter reading and repair. So we have meter supplies for $75,000 that covers the current meters and the meter reading equipment that parts might be broken that need to be fixed. That's what that covers. I'm not sure why they put $100 in contractual services.
It's probably a source thing online with the new online way of,
Yeah.
or maybe internet, who knows?
So then we got the repairs and maintenance equipment for $5,000. Again, the water meter reading equipment is a little bit older, so it sometimes needs repairs. Yeah, I know. I said water meter reading equipment. So page 54, water sewer and maintenance. This one has contractual services at $200,000.
Retrim.
That's for like the underground sewer lines that need to be maintained. We have $590,000, which is it's mostly done by a contractor. Previously it was Duke's root control. I'm not sure who the current contractor is for that.
It's on the May 13th agenda.
Okay.
We went out to bid and I got the recommendation to send it.
Okay, so that's gonna be on the May 13th agenda for that contractor. Same thing for the lining.
So the lining, we haven't used much. Is that something
I'm not sure that would be something that.
The lining, just due to, I think, it takes a substantial amount of engineering work to make sure we're lining the proper pipes at the proper time. So it hasn't happened this year, but this city is in dire need of using that as often as possible. So we're trying to set up a program with the right contractor, the right engineering to determine because it's far more involved than the emergency cleaning and TVing, jetting, cleaning.
So that's $845,000 we haven't used. That's good.
Yeah, right now, like that is going to be something that will budget amendment to cover overtime, at least for this fiscal year, or some of the other expenses.
Can we use that?
It's in the water department only.
Just the water department.
Because I'm adamant with most people, especially Moses, we're not using that to cover overtime in a different department. Even though, it kind of shows it in here, we're never going to move that out of the water fund. So it'll cover, in the event we run into any overtime issues with the water department right now, which it is possible, but that lining contract is going to take a little bit more diligence in the coming years because we budget for it and we need to use it. It's just a little more difficult to bid out, figure out exactly which one to use. So we need to keep it there. I agree it's not spent this fiscal year, but the goal is to get to the point where we're using that every year.
And then your capital outlay, what do you? $297,000. What do you plan on purchasing for that?
I don't know why that specific amount is in there, because in their capital outlay in other areas of we can combine obviously all the capital outlay within the water fund. Because there was the 450 for the street sweeper, which I don't think we haven't, I guess you could theoretically pay for, one of the street sweepers could be used strictly for water main problems. I don't anticipate that one getting spent this year, but.
And then the last page is the water and debt retirement. We have the principal for the 2021 capital improvement bond for $830,000. The interest, $502,200. The Wayne County Basin SRF principal is $148,000. The interest is $19,000. The CSO Basin for Wayne County, $120,000. The interest is $29,000. So the downriver, low and downriver charges, that is for DUA, Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority. We are actually a part owner in that facility. So you got the principal at $63,000. The SRF principal at $63,000. The interest at $99,000. Then the SRF principal at 200,000, the interest at 36,000. Then the A and B principal at 113,000, and the A and B interest at $8,900. So what the bottom shows the total appropriations for the water department, water fund at $29,979,899. That is $2,272,000 more than the revenue.
Okay.
And then the beginning fund balance is $107,978,000, and the ending fund balance is $1,105,706,000. And that should do it for the water fund. Is there any questions?
You know how I feel about this water, but we're gonna not have this discussion. We don't gonna have, I just want to vent for a second. I'm gonna take it open to, are we all set on these?
Yes, I'm all set with my presentation.
Thank you. We're gonna take it over to the public. Questions? Is, Vince, are you asking to raise your hand? Okay. Unmute him, please. You state your name, the city you reside in, the street that you live on. You got 2 minutes.
Ripkowski, Columbia Street. My question was for, excuse me, DPW Director. You mentioned that you won't be doing a lot of Parkland Park. What's going on with Parkland Park?
Parkland Park is costing the city a large amount of money in the building maintenance zone. Yep. We've had meetings with Wayne County, and we are looking at Wayne County to be able to take it back over. They actually legally own it, so.
Right. We've leased it for $1 a year for the last several years.
It's closed in the winter.
But yeah, that's a smart move because Parkland Park costs us a lot of money to operate.
Yeah, just give it back then.
We are.
Yeah.
We're taking it back.
Because our last recreational director has hardly ever used it properly or to its fullest potential. Thank you, that was my question. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, Sue. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. You have 2 minutes, please.
Sue Kaminsky, Amboy Street, Dearborn Heights. I looked up cement, and 50% of the cement comes from other countries. And I looked up water meters, and 40% come from other countries. And I know the vehicles, parts, a lot of them come from other countries. In any of these prices, are we looking at tariff increases?
So a lot of the water meters have already been purchased and pre-ordered and paid for already. And they're made in America.
Okay.
And then as far as the cement, that's based on what is it?
We do it from the same country.
Yeah, it's still within the same country.
Yeah, I don't believe we import anything from another country.
Well, I mean, a lot of the companies here that use it and distribute, get it from other countries. I'm just saying, like, when you talk about getting a dump truck and everything, I don't want to hear at this time next year, oh, well, we didn't take into account tariffs, and therefore we overspent, and now we're out of money again.
It's gonna happen.
Just a thought.
Majority of
Thank you.
things are services.
Yep.
Again, I don't disagree, which is one of the reasons that we did a change order for our current construction roads, which we added an additional road, is because they're keeping the prices from 2 years ago, which are much lower than the current prices. But yes, when we go out for new bids, those increases will be taken into account for all of our street projects.
Thank you. Next up, we got Margaret.
Hey, Margaret King. So with the streets and the painting of the crosswalks and all of that, that said that was going to be redone every year, LED has had. If I remember and recall correctly, the painting was supposed to last year's the one that we got, the new one. and it's not. So are we using the same paint or is it gonna be different? Will it last
I
5
mean,
years?
look, I will answer that. Wear and tear is never gonna stick around. The road's gonna stretch it, the driving, the cars, the snow, the plowing. It's not gonna stay, Margaret. But the good news is it's being budgeted for every year to make sure that they're being maintained.
Okay, and then when is the grants gonna be going on and when are we gonna see, boots on the ground with the grants that was heard of tonight?
The what is it?
The boots on the ground for the grants that we heard about tonight?
I don't know.
We already have,
They're saying already has.
so for instance, the water meter project, the contractors are already starting in Area 6. I think they're going to be moving on to the next area soon. Water main, we just paid out the first pay application to Biddiger contractors, and the lead line is in the future. Now, regarding the safe streets, for all, Mariana might be able to better give a timeline on when that should be implemented.
So again, it had to be designed twice at two different locations, but they are currently approved and ready to move forward with the installation. So you should see it before the end of the summer.
Thank you. Did that answer everything for you, Margaret?
Okay, thank you guys, have a good night.
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome. That's
guys.
it, thank you.
Anyone else in the audience?
Yeah, bye.
Anyone else on Zoom? Seeing none, thank you, Mehdi, thank you, DPW, thank you.
Good job.
Mariana, thank you to the council.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.